Hey everybody, welcome back to the Pylon Show. I am Artosis, and this is episode number 89. We are back and having a great time. In fact, we were having such a good time off the call, I almost want to end the show and just hang out with you guys all day, but I guess we'll do it in front of everyone. Yeah. Wonderful... Yeah? What?
I was going to say, if you're a Patreon supporter, now's the time. Get in quick for this upcoming...
we had some great content. Oh, you guys missed pretty much the best part of the show, but... I think you guys are going to enjoy this. I mean, not as
figured out all sorts of stuff. It's like how random fruits are, and
I've already used all my funny. I'm going to be boring on the show now.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm tapped out, man.
That's
what we're going for, anyways. It's fine. All right, we have just a wonderful cast today. Tempo, welcome back. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. You know, feels good to be back as well. Appreciate it. I do.
Good to have you. Fear Dragon. Back again so soon. How are you, my friend?
You know, I was doing great this morning, Dan, and then I got backseat coaching from Maynard Pig and Zombie Grub, and now I'm in a terrible mood.
Yeah?
I'm just kidding.
Could this be karmic justice for what you guys did to Juggernaut Jason?
I think it definitely is.
Only Pig that did anything, right?
I personally feel pretty good because I won all the games I played, so...
Okay, look. I'm winning a game, and they're like, "Oh, he's dead," and they're like, "Oh, yeah, just leave any second."
Your opponent's
I'm like,
dead.
"Oh,
is what we're
okay."
saying.
So I left the game, and I completely had that game won.
You're
I was
an
listening
idiot.
to their backseat coaching.
Oh, I don't believe you. Well, thank you for coming back on, Maynard. How are you doing? You won all your games, so I guess pretty good, right?
I mean, yeah, we've had pretty good. Won a lot of M1 today, so that was nice. And I'm just in a good mood in general. Yeah, it's been great. Stream's been good, and people have been nice. Chat's been wonderful. StarCraft's been fun. Tournament's been great. I'm a happy boy.
Great. And then, of course, Creighton. Finally have you on the show. I've been wanting to have you on the show for quite some time. You have been a busy boy. How are you doing?
I have been a very busy boy. It's so good to be joined by such epic people here on the Pylon Show. I'm honored by the invite. Thanks so much for having me on, Artosis.
Yeah. Glad to finally get you on here. I'm very slow about this. In fact, it was Cobra that finally pulled the trigger and was like, "Let's get Creighton on." I'm like,
okay,
yes,
well, I'm gonna
definitely.
All right, I dropped your thank you card in the mail already, but I'll pull it out and readdress it right away.
I'm lucky I checked my Discord today, actually, because I tend to check it every 7 weeks or so, and you kind of just got me on the right day. So
that is exactly me as well. Like, I just don't check anything ever. This is an ongoing thing in my life. If you need to really get in contact with me, call my wife. And if you don't have her number, I'm so sorry. That's about as good as it can go.
I was going to say, if you do have a number, then fight me. It's like,
if you really want to talk with me, you have to have 2,000 MMR and Q on the Brood War ladder at the same time as me. That is the only way to get a message through.
And I'm sure you're very chatty with people in the Brood War ladder, Dan.
Yeah. You better open with a good first line because I will DND you so quickly.
You can't even get him in Twitch chat. Like, you stream all the time, and you can't even get him in Twitch chat. Someone will gift 100 subs, and Toast will be like, "Oh, hey, guy in the chat, thanks." And he's like, "But there's fucking B Protoss though." God,
I know.
I've never heard.
I got my
anyone
priorities
really
in order.
out.
Yeah.
Why does no one ever call out Dan on the fact that he actually dehumanizes every single one of his fans by not referring to their name ever? Everyone
he refers to me by name. I'm
the
a
guys
fan.
in the chat. What the fuck?
That's
guys in the chat.
Wait, are you saying that guys
named.
in the chat are humans? Like, come on.
They're not name tagged?
The audacity.
Are the people at
Well,
McDonald's that give me fries
Hold on.
also people?
Dan, I mean,
Whoa! Oh, damn!
I don't know, man. I refer to my viewers as gals in the chat, so I mean, dude.
That is
I'm
you
not
though,
saying
Tempo.
all of them are humans, Dan, because only about 66% of them don't play Protoss, but some of them.
So true. Well said. Wonderful to have you guys here.
Awesome.
Let me quickly run through our sponsors. First off, check out thepylonshow.com. This is where you get all your Pylon Show needs, whether you are dropping in one of your Patreon questions, you want to follow any of the social medias, download the podcast, check the show notes, check a VOD, go on the forums, like anything. Thepylonshow.com. Also, the way that we fund this show is through our Patreon. patreon.com/The Pylon Show. Check it out. We have some great goals on there as people subscribe more, including having some Korean guests come on the show and possibly one day somehow getting Tasteless to wake up. Just so, I mean, it's almost 10:30 a.m., which is basically 4 a.m. for Tasteless. So it's going to be hard, but we're going to try to get him on here.
I think episode 100 should be the one, you know, where
he won't do it. No,
wake him up when he finally wakes up.
Does he wake up or does he stay up?
It depends what time you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, that's true about everyone, isn't it, then? Check out the Patreon, guys. Patreon.com/The Pylon Show. We also have our Matcherino. Matcherino.com/The Pylon Show. Oh, my God. Hit the contribute button. Type in banana. It is National Banana Week or Day or month or who knows. And most people like bananas. Not Fear Dragon, but most people.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
Check
that out.
Like
reasoning.
They're like fruit boogers or something, okay?
Is it because they're
fruit
shaped?
is what you said, though. You said random fruit.
Why
boogers.
is everyone keying in on the fact that I said random?
Because
why are they
that's an
boogers?
important part of it.
And why are they random?
Why do people care about the words that I say?
Thing, like hanging off of
Yeah.
them.
But you can
That's
take the
disgusting.
strings off. Everyone takes the strings off.
You can also pick your nose and take the boogers out. Sounds like they're the same.
We all do that too. Like what?
Yeah.
Come on.
What
Yeah,
is
but I don't
this
want to eat
logic?
it afterwards.
What is
remove
this
boogers
logic?
from my bananas and my
I'm not
nose?
just like,
sometimes
oh,
at the
let me
same time.
Put them together.
Let me take my nose hairs out and remove the booger from them and then
Okay.
eat them.
Fear Dragon, have you ever had an orange or a mandarin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have strings too.
Is
Yeah,
that
they
not
do. In
something-
fact, they're more
I'm
annoying.
not saying
Have you
I
ever had
don't
string
like
cheese?
any.
Do you not like string cheese?
I don't like string cheese, and you know why. But I'm not saying I don't like any fruits, no strings attached. Like,
Ask the deathly ill vegan if he's had
What
string
about our
cheese.
relationship? That's an NSA relationship. What's up with that's why you let it Hot damn.
Kappa.
Oh, this
Pride.
is going to be a great episode. I wonder if we're ever going to finish this one. So
No.
type in,
Have we done
type
this
in
week?
By the time.
Guys, type in banana on the Matcherino page, and
doing
if
it
you'd
right
like
now.
some of the swag, get a Pylon mug and those mugs. We're gonna send me one of those mugs. I'm gonna drink out of that mug. Yeah, check it out. Matcherino.com/The Pylon Show. Okay, so we're gonna go into this week in StarCraft, and then we're gonna go ahead and talk about some of our subjects, including the point. I don't know if we can call it really a debacle, but the point thing going on with Super Tournament and the Stay-at-Home Story Cup and things like that Apollo posted about. We'll talk a little bit about the Stay-at-Home Story Cup, a little bit about GSL, and whatever people want to. A little fun bonus topic as well with Tempo, which is going to be really cool to talk about. But we'll talk about that later. Okay, so this week in StarCraft, or as I like to call it, the Wardy and Creighton Hour. Let's go ahead and jump in. Of course, this is attached everywhere. If we don't talk enough about some of these things and you're interested, anywhere that you're watching the show, you can find these show notes very, very easily. All right, let's jump down to page number 3. Upcoming events. Some of the things we'll be mentioning here: ESL Open Cups, ESL Open Cups AU, Philadelphia 12 Online and Alpha X Code A Showdown, which these guys are all very well involved in. Going down ESL Open Cups, we have a list of some of the
Creighton,
upcoming
can you get out of the way
ones.
of my elbow real quick. I'm trying to put my hair up.
You dick.
Why is
I was
your
like wondering. I'm like, what the hell is Creighton doing? And then, like, I put
Creighton.
it together.
Jesus.
It's so dude. Social distancing. What the fuck? You're like right
Yo,
behind my elbow.
Get your head out of my elbow.
I mean, you seem clean and healthy, but
I
don't
knew
wanna be that guy,
Maynard
yeah.
was ripped, but this is ridiculous. Holy crap.
Maynard is
all the way to Kansas, baby.
like Maynard is actually just right in front of me physically right now.
Yeah, that's right. It's the green screen just cut off.
Oh my god.
That liberated range, man.
All right, so guys, sign up for the ESL Open Cups. Jumping down, ESL Open Cups AU. The Australian scene having some Open Cups. Probe winning this one 3-0 over Miomeka. And it's cast by Cranky Ducklings. You can check that out over there. And now it's sponsored by Dare Iced Coffee. Is that an Australian iced coffee?
It
I never
is.
heard of that.
It is actually.
Is
There
it
are
good?
also. I don't. Yes.
Dude, they're not hiring you to cast this. You can tell the truth. Is that
They
Tell us
are
how it is,
sponsoring
man.
some video content that I'm making.
Oh,
Oh.
So you know,
so
how
it's the best iced coffee in the whole
Best.
world.
It's the best. The best.
Damn.
Big +1 for Dare.
Sounds good.
Yes.
All right. Well, check that out if you are interested over on the Cranky Ducklings stream. Cheeseadelphia Online. The 5 qualifiers are complete with 16 of NA's best players ready to go. It's a $500 online cup taking place April 18th. I'm mistaken in saying we have the casters for that here.
We do.
That
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah, you guys want to tell us a little bit about this tournament and what's been going on with it, what people should look forward to and all that?
Well, Dan, this was an awesome and epic offline event that has been forced into an online format, but Nerd Street Gamers has done an awesome job in transitioning it. They actually opened it up, so now we have a lot of European players and stuff that are going to be participating between like Clem and Euthermal and TLO, who's kind of Canadian at this point, Namshar, Denver, etc. T-Bowl actually managed to qualify as well. Like, it looks like it's just going to be a really fun event. It's happening this Saturday. Yeah.
It is. Like, oh man, just like starting out, right? Like, so we were already setting up thing to a live event, and it was gonna be this past weekend, right? So
Yeah.
it would have been
Mhm.
Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
It literally would have been this past weekend, and unfortunately, with the whole COVID thing going on, we had to like figure out what we were gonna do.
It was actually
And I
great
think-
too, because it was gonna be
It was-
this past. It was like, okay, we'll
It was Easter
transition it from
weekend
being.
too.
I know, it was like
Mm.
we'll transition from being offline to online, and then Take TV announced their thing, and they're like, oh, now we have to also move it a week, and then it was
Mhm.
like trying to figure everything out. Was yeah,
Yeah.
it's gone through some shit, but they came out on the other end.
Right. And I like the
Hmm.
whole fact that they did the qualifiers. So like we obviously these players, I remember when like Verdi was the European player that came over from Europe. Yo, we got Europeans at Philadelphia. But now that it's actually online, like seeing Clem make it there and like Bly,
Mm.
so we kind of get the mix, and we're gonna be able to see these top North American pros go head to head with a lot more of the top European pros. And then we can get some real spicy Twitter memes going on after the fact. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty stacked tournament overall. What are you guys thinking about who's going to take this down? Is Clem
Ooh.
just too good right now?
Clem has been on fire, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the ESL
Yeah.
weeklies has been like Rainer and Clem just going head to head with even Clem taking them off of Rainer. So I don't know. There's some players that I'm not really sure about that I haven't seen, which is exciting because I love new players like Spaz. I think he's been around for a while, but I haven't got to see much from him. I think also Puck is there, but
Mm.
going as I forget. She changed the name.
Nina.
Right?
Oh, Nina.
Nina.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, she changed, right? Okay.
yeah. I wanted to see how Estrella's gonna do, because I know Estrella's been like just in Korea practicing and playing a ton.
Yeah.
But like because of that, I also haven't seen Estrella play as much. Maybe Maynard Estrella
like,
plays in
Scarlet's stream, right? Like,
Kalima
every
League and
once in a
stuff,
while.
right?
Oh, yeah. Estrella's been playing like absolutely everything, and he's in very good shape right now.
Yeah, he's all over.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that, and of course, yeah, Clem.
Alpha X boy.
I've been hearing a lot of murmurings about the power of Terran lately, so we'll see Euthermal,
I haven't heard that.
Clem, Masa, Future.
Yeah, I think the coolest part about this tournament too is like even the first round is a lot of NA versus E. At least in the first couple that I was looking at, and I'm
Was the
excited.
bracket already out?
Yeah, Joe actually posted it. If you
nice.
go to Joe Plogadice, no, but
Yeah,
I
it's
think
not
it's Joe
on Wikipedia.
Laguidis, Joe_Laguidis here. I'll put the link in the
Mhm.
chat. And he ended up posting the bracket, and we got people like Euthermal versus Dolan first, Jon Snow versus Clem, TLO versus Spaz, Silky versus Namshar, Future and Rob. So that's like a little NA
Oh yeah.
rivalry there
Nice.
a bit. Nina versus Bly, Masa versus T-Bull,
Damn.
and then Estrella versus Denver. So a lot of NA versus EU in the first round.
Nina
Aside
Bly is
from,
so
of
hyped
course,
for
Future
me.
versus Rob.
Yeah,
Mm.
that'll be sick.
Yeah, so I'm very excited to cast that. That'll be on Saturday. Hell yeah!
Are you guys
I'll
spreading it
post the
over
link.
2 days, or is it just a 1-day tournament?
I believe it's
One day.
right?
They didn't want to overlap with ESL Open.
Okay.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
And what time will that be starting and what channel?
That's a great question, Dan.
You guys
Ask
are
me
real
questions,
professionals.
Dude, we
No, 'cause
figure it out like the day that we
What
wake
time
up.
do you guys have to show up? You're like,
You know,
I think
Usually
because
show
like
up late.
the tentative time I was given was noon EST, which is like 9 a.m. Pacific. But I'm not. I am like not 100% sure about that.
I believe that's exactly correct.
Yeah.
all right. See, if you guess, I mean, you had a 1 in 24 chance of getting that right.
Nailed it.
Sorry, Joe, if
Tempo,
you're hearing this. I totally read
Tempo,
your
if
Discord
you
messages.
if you want to give me that link, I'll put it in the chat because I'm a mod here. Or
Okay. Yeah, I might have got banned.
Tempo
for
not a
that,
mod?
yo.
Where's
Yeah,
Did
just
I
mod
get banned?
Tempo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let
we
me
figured
actually
that
give it to you in the Discord.
got
yo,
silenced.
And I got wrecked, yo. Was that Nightbot? Or you got your own
Tempo?
bot?
You're a mod now. There you go.
Nailed it.
Alright.
Nice.
Don't mod Fear Dragon 64 though. You'll regret it.
Oh, Fear Dragon's not a mod here. You be mod
Oh
too.
no!
And you're a
No,
mod.
that's
And
such
you're
a
a
big
mod.
mistake.
And you're a
That's such a big
mod.
mistake.
Everybody,
Everybody, look on your seat. Mods for everybody. No. All right, so there it is, right there. I posted it.
Oh, there we go. We have it on the screen
Artosis.com.
now.
So that is the bracket right there. At least what it is for now. I assume that's what it's gonna be. And if you want to check it out, I think he should have said what time it would actually start as well. But
Damn, nice.
I think that looks pretty dope. You know, like got a decent amount of the champions here. I'm a little bit sad that Neeb wasn't here, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been kind of
Just
quiet lately, huh?
he has been a
Neeb?
little
What's
quiet,
going on?
right?
What's up with that?
He,
Yeah.
Anybody checked up on
He's been
him?
playing in the weeklies, the EPT weeklies. He's been playing in some of
Yeah.
those. But yeah, not
Neeb
as active
and
as you would hope at this
Cyril?
point.
I feel like Neeb and Cyril are just like two people who don't really like playing in a lot of online tournaments. I think Neeb
Neeb does
probably
play them
plays
though,
them-
whereas Cyril is just
Yeah.
like, nope.
Cyril's just
Yeah.
like absolutely no. Neeb will
Nah.
do it like if it's important or if it's actually a really big prize pool or something.
Mhm.
But like I think he definitely prefers not to play in online tournaments. He's just
to.
like
I
I'll
mean-
just practice.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he told me he only goes to Philadelphia to like hang out with me. So since we're not actually able to
Specifically with you.
go chill, yeah, pretty much. So unfortunately,
Damn, you're cool.
Nice.
Wow. I've been saying this for years. Tempo's actually too cool for our scene. Like you'll watch him break
Nah,
dance and
bro.
like,
not even close.
sing really well, and then I'm like, this guy's too cool for us. Does he know?
Absolutely not.
Does he know which
Nope.
game he's in? Does he know which after party he's at?
I don't know, man. Got your boy coming from like Maynard. I don't know, man. I can't take seriously when you say things like that.
Oh, come on now. Come on now.
All right. Okay, so very cool. She's the Delphi Online. You guys, everyone really should check it out and support. This has been such a great grassroots tournament for so many years. And you know, in these trying times, it sucks that they can't do the offline event. But yeah, show your support by checking it out online for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. Thank you guys. Moving forward, Alpha X Code A Showdown. This is April 17th through 22nd. And this is basically for players that almost qualified. Creighton, are you casting this or?
Yeah, I'm doing Group B for this one. So
Okay.
my boy Kozan's doing Group A in the finals, and I'm filling in for Group B, which is at 3 a.m. on like a Tuesday morning,
Hell
which
yeah.
I'm
That's esports.
jazzed about.
That's
You can
esports.
do that, man.
But this is going to be super fun, man. This is an idea we had last year when we were talking about maybe getting some Code A players in. We couldn't make it work out with Africa TV. So my team owner just got it like sponsored by Africa. So it is going to be cast on Africa TV. But Kozan's taking Group A. I've got Group B, and it's like, yeah, all the players that almost qualified for the GSL Code S, and it's going to be real. It's going to be real cool, like a nice little shot of that just barely not Code S action, which is really exciting.
I love that type of format because these are the kind of like up and coming players. And I mean, you guys should recognize a bunch of these names, like obviously Estrella, right? He's been over in Korea a lot. He's been doing very well on some of the qualifiers on like cups. Zound, of course, has had kind of a big last few months, but can't quite make it in yet.
Yeah.
You know, Super is back and in good shape. Chance and Percival have been at the house, the foreign pro gamer house, basically, and obviously sort of has been through the qualifiers a bunch. Yeah, Dynamite, you see him popping up in Olima League and stuff.
Yeah. He
what's the deal
surprised
with-
me, yo.
What's
I
the
don't
deal
know
with
where.
True?
I love that out of like the 8 players we have here, we've got like some new guys, some young guys. guys coming back, like players in all different trajectories in their careers right now. So it's a cool little microcosm of just like all these awesome players. So it should be a ton of fun.
Yeah, I do wonder just one thing about this though. Why is True there? Because he made it into Codes.
And not only that, but I thought he made it into Codes, but I also thought like he had basically said and told. I know Psystorm owner KJ was talking about this on Twitter. Like Codes was that was his retirement series. Like he was like, "This is my last tournament." Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why he's in this one.
Because he's going to military and stuff.
I believe.
Yeah. Is he still playing in this?
Yeah, he is still playing in this. We're gonna. It's like one last shot for him.
Good for him. Yeah, I love True.
He's one of my favorite like people.
Yeah. Oh my god.
He's such a fun dude.
He really is, yo. Like he was living at the Psystorm house for a bit.
Showing up for Cheesadelphia on like 30 minutes of sleep, and you're like, Tesu, where have you been? And he's like, oh, casino. Oh no.
All night.
And then
because Penguin is the biggest.
I know.
We're talking about True.
He can't gamble.
Yeah, we're talking about True. No,
he influences. I think True influences Penguin a bit too, though.
It's one of my favorite stories for Cheesadelphia, though. Like we're at this. We're at Cheesadelphia and Philadelphia and everything, and like Penguin shows up and he's like, "Have you guys seen like is True here?" Because, and I'm like, True's literally staying with you in the same Airbnb. What do you mean? Like, is he here, or why didn't he come with you guys? He's like, we haven't seen him. We've been up. We got up like 4 hours early at like 3 or 4 in the morning because we were just worried. We're like, oh no, Tesu died somewhere like on the street, and we don't know where he is. He's not picking up his phone or anything. Apparently, he was out super duper late at the casino. His phone battery died, and then he had trouble getting to like an actual place that he could like get an Uber or any sort of form of transportation.
Oh shit.
So finally he walked over, waited outside of a restaurant or something until it opened, and then asked if he could use their power outlet and an iPhone charger. Called them up at like 7 in the morning, like, hey, can you pick me up? I know we have to head over in 30 minutes for day number 1 of the tournament.
Wow.
And then this kid
like deep, yo. Oh,
and then he just like literally doesn't drop a map that day.
What a fucking baller.
And he kills everybody.
What a baller.
Yeah.
Yep. Unbelievable.
God, I love Tesu.
He's a legend.
Tesu.
That's awesome.
He's gonna kill it for the South Korean military, yo. Like they needed him.
They need him.
They need him on that wall.
Sweet.
But like,
oh my god.
If True was like an actual military commander, just based on his StarCraft play, he would be the one that everyone's just like, no, Commander, sir, I don't think this is a good idea. I was like, no. Send all of our units in a single file line into their enemy territory with no weapons.
If True was the general of the Korean military, they would invade everyone. It'd be horrifying.
Yep, with just infantry. Like there would be
I don't want to be enemies with South Korea.
Nothing else.
He would stay on like infantry, like go.
It's like, oh, there's America! Quick, up the ramp! Don't scan. And we're like, True, do we need more resources? And he's like, no, just soldiers. Like, do you need money, True? No, just soldiers. More soldiers.
One of my favorite interviews that was ever done in StarCraft was actually Tempo interviewing True. And there's this like moment from one of the series, and it was like I think it was actually after he won like a Cheesadelphia or something, and like True takes like, I'm not joking, like 25 banelings and runs them straight into a mineral line into 4 or 5 lurkers. And somehow the banelings managed to kill every single one of the drones, and like none of them died lurkers. So Tempo afterwards is like, so True, you ran like 25 banelings into 5 lurkers that you had vision of. Why did you do that? And he's like, oh, dodge and weave. And he's like, doing this motion. And I'm just like, what? I'm like, there's no fucking way.
No way, right? Like, we can't. Like, and he's serious, and he'll say it too, straight face too. Like, oh, before every like, answer, he's like, dodge and dodge. And he uses his hands too. Like, oh man,
his answers for a lot of questions that I've asked him and seen also from interviewers from like Smix and Yuri and stuff has been juggling. Any excuse.
Juggling. Yeah.
So what is the strategy here? What was this off the back of? How did you win that game? Juggling.
Good.
I remember
Good.
one of
Totally
Smix's,
good, yeah.
one of my favorite complaints from Smix about like interviewing True is she's just like, I just like don't know what to ask him, because one time I asked him like, hey, you beat Cyril, he was doing really, really well. This is like at Valencia 2017. It's like everyone's been talking him up and everything, and you managed to beat him. Like, why do you think that is? What do you think you had over him? He's like, oh, Cyril come from Finland and it's cold there, but it's summer right now, so I'm better. And Smix has like the most dumbfounded look on her face for
Impeccable
like
logic.
5 seconds, just like, thank you, True. And with that, back to you, Colaris.
Tide goes in, tide goes out. You can't explain it.
He breaks your brain, man.
What
He's
a
one of
bro.
a kind.
I
in this area,
love
a lot
him.
of these. Yeah, man.
I'm
Personality.
really gonna miss him. I'm really gonna miss him.
Same.
Well, hopefully we can get an
So, yeah,
interview with him
Alpha-
after the event, because that'll be
Yeah.
well worth
Oh,
it. Then I'm
please.
sure.
Even if
Please,
even if he goes out.
Yeah,
I'll talk to my boys and see if we can get that just for the memes on Reddit, if nothing else.
absolutely, man.
You will not regret it.
Wow. Well,
That was
making
beautiful.
me sad now. Those were some good True
Yeah.
memories right there.
Seriously,
man.
True is one of my favorite people in the StarCraft scene. I'm super sad about it.
Yeah, losing a lot of people to military this year next,
Mhm.
unfortunately. So yeah, this tournament looks really cool. It's going to be again April 17th through 22nd on Afrika TV. Creighton and Kozan, you're going to be doing a lot of the casting. So check it out. Check it out. True's very last tournament, it looks like, most likely.
Oh,
All right. Going forward this week in StarCraft, a little screenshot in there of Rainer's crazy game. 1,004 Zerglings. That's
Yeah, it broke the unit count out.
that was yeah.
that's in a lot of people add that to their ID in Korean because Chunsa means Korean. In Korean, it means angel
Oh.
and 1,004. So this just happens to be that number. I'm just
Wow. I didn't know
Perfect.
Perfect. There you go. So anytime you see any 1,004 in a Korean ID,
Chunsa Rainer.
read it.
It's new
Yeah,
ID.
there you go.
that. Did anybody catch this game, by the way? Like,
I
I had to
didn't see.
watch
I
the
heard
VOD.
about it.
You know what?
Yeah.
because
Rainer and Clem, they definitely don't play each other enough. So I feel like
I'm telling you.
it's hard to know which series this is. It's like, is it the final of the Red Bull thing? Is it one of the Wardy things? Is it a
this one is
Pro
the
Tour
this one
Weekly?
is the Red Bull one, and they had an event today as well. So what are they doing, like a weekly thing now? Because I
the
totally had,
Zelnaga
Well,
finest?
we will get into
Yeah.
that, of course,
Yeah.
because it's
Mhm.
in this.
We'll
week
talk
of
about
StarCraft.
that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
It's like
they've-
payback for all the Maru Cyril games we don't get to see. We get to see them.
So what you guys are saying is,
I know.
Yeah, we got-
Yeah, look
we got
at that.
Clem
It's like
Rainer for
runner-up
days.
Maru versus
Yeah.
runner-up Cyril. That's amazing. Yeah.
wait, so if you add up the scores across all of the series they've played, have they played a best of 69 yet?
Oh, nice.
Not quite.
Nice.
Not quite.
I'll do the research.
Not yet, but I wouldn't. Yeah, they're getting there.
Hopefully they do by April 20th. Okay.
All
moving forward.
right.
Hey.
Why? What's so special about April 20th? I don't understand.
We'll tell you when you're older.
This weekend.
You pure summer child. Don't worry about it.
All right. Moving forward. ESL Cup Korea. I don't see any of your guys' names listed here, so I guess none of y'all casted it. But Trap
slacking.
won
I take
over
Sunday off.
Pure. Lazy,
Gemini,
you
Gemini
lazy
did
man.
a naked
I
lap
know.
too.
I know.
Mm.
Do you have
Sounds-
Sunday underwear, or
Absolutely.
I
But
would
not
say
wearing it right now because I'm not disgusting.
All right. Trap over Cure 3-1 there in the finals. Solar and Parting making the top 4 as well. Congrats to them. You can check out those VODs on Base Trade, Chicken Dan, Cranky Ducklings, Odrich, and Crank TV. We also had ESL Cup EU. Again, none of y'all's names. You guys are so lazy. This is crazy.
It starts at fucking 11 p.m. Artosis, and it's like a 5-hour tournament, 6-hour tournament.
Mm.
Get out of here, bro.
Great. What time are you getting up for the Code thing? What time was that again?
It's 3 a.m. This one starts at
3
like
a.m.
6 a.m. for me. The Korean one,
Man.
1 a.m. They're all fun. They're all
All right,
fun
Creighton.
times.
Creighton,
I remember when you guys used to have passion, man. What happened?
What happened? What
He
happened?
sounds muted to me. I see his mouth moving, but I don't hear anything. Are you muted? Cobra, can you fix that? Cobra, can you fix Creighton? All right, we're moving on.
Working on it.
Hit him
Yeah,
with your
thank you.
elbow again, Maynard. That'll show you.
Get him.
Get out of
son.
here.
All right.
I do get up at 5 a.m. for the fucking Pro Tour summer, the American one. Get up for the Pro Tour American one. That's at 5 a.m. for me now because of daylight savings. God damn it,
Oh,
hurts.
wow.
I'll trade you, Maynard. I'll do the North America one because that's at like a reasonable time for me.
Yeah. Then why don't you do it?
Well, he lives in North America, so that would make sense, right?
Yeah. Why don't you do it? What's the matter with you?
Something else going
He's
on this
like-
week.
He's
Anyway,
like, what? This starts in the afternoon after like at my peak energy level when I've had food and
After
exercise
lunch?
and I'm ready to go
2 meals?
after lunch. What?
Man, stop complaining.
You
Just
cast
do the
StarCraft
ESL
after 2
Australia
meals, man.
Open.
Australian
Yeah.
Open?
Yeah,
You mean the one
just
that's on
stop
during Elima
complaining.
League?
Oh.
Brutal.
Yeah.
All right, Seoul took down Hero Marine 3-2 in the EU Cup. Check that out over on the many streams. Takeo Gaming, Wardy, Chicken Man, and many others. We also have the NA ESL Cup. And all right, Maynard, you cast this one. How was it? Clem over Seoul 3-0 in the finals.
It was actually a pretty one-sided finals, unfortunately. But it did showcase that Seoul is an absolute boss. Sometimes people forget that. He falls to the wayside versus other foreign Terrans. Like everyone's obviously a huge fan of Clem right now. Euthermal and Big Gabe, obviously, you know, they're all the people you think of when you think of foreign Terrans. But Seoul is so legit. You guys should absolutely, you know, cheer for him when he's playing because he's so fucking good. And
that's
that
a
and
sick run by Seoul in this tournament
yeah, that's
too.
what I'm saying. These tournaments are
Jesus.
also, as I was about to say, are quite stacked. So it's not he's no slouch. And he just won the European weekly before the American weekly. So like that
Over
was
Big
almost
Gabe.
back to back.
So
Over Big Gabe, yep. So
Dude,
huge
look
result,
at that
but-
run by Clem, though, too. 2-0 Nice, 2-0 Namshar, 2-0 Armani, and 3-0
Mhm.
Seoul. Damn, that
Yes.
kid's getting so good.
he's really getting. Oh,
Clem-
it's insane.
Clem,
like
if Parting doesn't sign up,
God,
if Parting doesn't sign up, Clem usually gets pretty gets all the way to the
it's
final.
disgusting, yo. Yeah.
Parting's been rolling his runs every now and then.
So the EU is the Big Gabe weekly. When you rename the NA to like the Little Clem weekly.
The Clem weekly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
He's been getting a lot better and like a lot more confident in his play. Maybe I guess he knows.
Yeah, I mean, it did had some really good games at the Stay at Home Story Cup as well, which we'll talk about later.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
I had the
Right,
craziest thought about Clem also the other day, which is like, what if after the quarantine everything ends, Clem shows up to an event and he's like fucking 6.5 foot tall.
Yeah,
like he hits his
6'5",
growth spurt,
jacked.
and suddenly
He looks
everyone's
like Kung Fu
we
Panda.
can't call him Little Clem anymore.
No.
Yeah, he's like
Damn.
super fucking buff because he's got nothing to do but play StarCraft and work out.
He's just like playing StarCraft with one hand, eating a baguette, and the other just like.
Yeah. His voice
Who's
has
a
changed.
child now?
He's like, bonjour. I'm like, oh my god, bonjour. Oh my god.
Bonjour.
I'm like, I wish I had a daughter that you could date right now.
All right. Well, congrats to
Jeez.
Clem on that sick run over Seoul in the finals. You can check that out on Maynard's stream, Base Trade TV, Pig Stream, and more. We also have GSL. I guess this is just a recap of the Super Tournament, of course, where Dark defeated Maru in the finals. Or Maru defeated Dark in the finals.
Excuse
sorry.
me, I was
Super
about to
sick
say.
finals.
How
I'm like,
dare
I
you.
don't remember. But that was
one of the best
great
finals,
Check
like-
that out.
Who casted that finals anyway? By the way.
It was Creighton
Probably
and Wolf, I think.
Yeah.
Probably Wardy.
Of course, you guys can check that out over on the Africa TV YouTube. The Stay at Home Story Cup, we had Sterile Renovation, but we'll talk about that a little bit later into the show. We'll skip that for now. Olima League. You casted this, right, Maynard? How was it this week?
Yeah, I mean, some of these tournaments have been like a week outdated. So which Olima League are we looking at here? I haven't got my...
Well, we have two. The March finals and number 187 with Ragnarok
Okay.
over Trap.
Yes. So Ragnarok over Trap was actually a pretty bad final, but the Zest final for the monthly was actually very nice. I think you guys should check that one out. Zest Solo had some cool series. It's really cool to see Zest on top of Korea, at least online for the Olima League. That was very, very cool. The Olima League post that, so the first week of the April Olima League, had a couple very good series in it, and I do recommend the replays. The final, not so much, but because it was just basically Ragnarok being quite aggressive and kind of smashing Trap. Trap's got problems in PvZ at the moment, I think.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, he's like
early aggression, right? Like I remember at Laser did like the same build over and over.
yeah.
What it was, but
I mean, Trap usually opens Stargate, which is normally quite safe and that sort of thing, but he just seems to, you kind of know that a player like Ragnarok or Solar or Impact or something like that is going to kill you with a ton of roaches. Like the roaches are going to come, right? They're coming.
Yep.
And it just seems like when they come, he's just never ready for it, or ever so slightly holds. Like he did hold one game. I think it was the Everdream game, but yeah, like every other game, pretty consistent how he died. And it's easier said than done, honestly, holding that road shit.
Of course,
you Zergs, man. You Zergs. How dare you? How do you sleep at night with these road forever?
Bring the baby girls, yo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he's bringing the queens across the map too with those pushes. Yeah, it's gross, man. It's gross.
Yeah. Well, you can check out the VODs for these on your channel, right, Maynard?
Yep, my VODs are not paywalled. Twitch TV Maynard, check them out. They get removed after time, but just check them out. And if you like it, click follow.
Do you put them up on YouTube?
Nope.
You should do that.
So watch them while they're hot. Watch them while they're hot.
Yeah,
I should. So. I keep meaning to.
I've been thinking about that. Too, but definitely should, man. You do a lot of content that
it creates exclusivity. Like they got to get in fast.
Yeah, but the thing is, I have this thing. Every time I feel like I want to put something on my YouTube, like just a Twitch clip or something like that, or a Twitch VOD, I'm just like, I don't want that on my YouTube. I want my YouTube to just be like produced, content, like the stuff that I've got there now.
See,
well, that's the dilemma that
it seems like a Twitch clip or a Twitch VOD would just clash too much with the well-produced stuff. So I don't want to.
This is actually interesting that this came up. I'm the same boat as you right now, but what happens is that then my YouTube just doesn't have like content or like daily content or as much content as it could.
Well, I have literally 3 videos on my YouTube channel, and I'm fine with that because I don't see my YouTube channel as like I'm going to make money with this thing. My YouTube channel to me is like I want to just have videos out here for discoverability, basically.
Not with that attitude, Maynard. Not with that attitude.
I literally cannot monetize even if I wanted to. I cannot monetize because I don't have enough subscribers or followers. So
I can't wait until Maynard finally breaks and just is like, okay, here's my YouTube channel. So it's like, let's improve at StarCraft, getting into StarCraft, overcoming ladder anxiety. And then it's one of his like ladder stream highlights where he's talking about how to have sex with aliens or something. So really, that was a tonal change for those subscribers.
And then unfortunately he will get more views for that than all of his hard work.
Artosis, I'm going to tell you something while you're right here, right now. Okay, I spent a month, and I mean like hours every day for a month on this ladder anxiety video. I put it up onto Reddit.
Oh yeah.
It gets a third of the upvotes and half the viewership of fucking Depressed Marauders parody of my video with your face getting angry at Brood War.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
welcome to the internet.
I'm not even. I wasn't mad because I'm like, this is the internet, and I knew it was gonna. I saw that thread get posted. I'm like, oh, this thing's gonna crush my video, and no one's gonna watch my video. They're not gonna use that link to go to my video. They're gonna just watch that and go, upvote. And that's how the internet works. I'm like, oh, okay, well. I'm like, I'll try not to concentrate on that and just move on and keep making content, I guess.
That's really what it is.
Effort is not rewarded in YouTube content.
Absolutely not.
So the stupid useless fact videos that I make those 12 at a time in an hour and a half. For all 12 of them. All right?
Like when I'm Grandmaster, I was like taking a shit and like
scheduling the tweets on TweetDeck.
Yeah, I was talking to Jason waffle stomping in the shower.
Yeah, like
and I was waffle stomping and I'm just like, when I'm Grandmaster.
Oh man, that sounds really good in the shower, you know?
Good acoustics in here. Yeah, all right.
Solid.
This shit is still stupid. And
yes,
then
shit was solid. It was.
I will spend.
Sorry.
It was solid, but then I adopted the Juggernaut Jason approach.
Yeah. What's gonna be hot?
I'll spend a month coding up like a coding project, like hands-free StarCraft or something. I'll edit together a video. I'll film it. I'll produce it. I'll like get feedback, reiterate on it. 1,500 views. Release some shitty thing where I'm like, I don't fucking know, guys. An overseer has 2 eyes that don't blink. And then it's like 8,000 views.
It's like, how does that? Dude, you go crazy. You go crazy trying to figure out a method to the madness, man. You just gotta let them go and
just keep doing it.
Whatever. You know what I mean? Like throwing shit at the wall and see if it sticks. And
or the shower.
Sometimes
yeah, it's the top 2. Congratulations! You don't have to watch tomorrow's useless fact video.
Does it get dust on its eyes? Like, what is that? That's crazy. It would never lose its staring contest.
Maybe it's glue-on so that, like, if you try and blind it, all the other eyes will have been blinking, but just the top 2 eyes are actually drawing.
We're still in This Week in StarCraft, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
Maynard,
yeah.
what do you
we are,
think
we
comes
are.
after this week in StarCraft? It's going to be Patreon questions.
I know.
This week is not
Do
gonna- literally
you
gonna
think
take
this goes
whole
uphill
week.
at some point?
Oh my goodness.
All right.
Uh,
Moving on.
Oh.
Kung Fu Cup 2020. Great, and you casted this. Why don't you tell us about it?
I did. It was dope. Next project.
Sick.
Yes. Good.
Dream went on it.
Dope. All right. That's what
No,
I
I
want to
mean-
hear.
Dream went on a tear. Other than that, there's not too much to say. I mean, look at
My boy
Dream's
Dream.
freaking run through this dark zest
Love
cure,
me some
sort
Dream.
of just one after another. Dropped one map the entire night.
Damn.
He was insane, dude.
God, I
Oh.
wish Dream was signing up for Elite League and doing that. It'd be so much more hype.
I wish he
love
was.
it.
I wish
That
he was
is
doing more
crazy.
stuff for sure. But yeah, a great
Yeah.
series, and I mean, this is always top tier StarCraft. It's always.
I caught a bit of this. I caught quite a bit of this, man. This dream that showed up was like, when you just see somebody that is just on their game, and
You're like, that's the
I don't
dream.
know, you got the
You
juice,
see-
That's what we call it. It's just you
Yeah.
got the juice, and you just like
Yeah. You see these.
The rhythm.
You see, I call it like the there is no spoon mode. It's like,
yeah.
oh,
No,
it's-
that's literally what it is. Yeah.
you know, everything's clear and you're just like on a flow state. Dream. There's flashes of that for Dream. I just wish it happened more often because I'm such a
He
fan.
literally was
Such a
living the
great Terran.
dream. He was,
Yeah.
man.
And he's like one of those people that's also done with military service and quite young. So like if he was doing that all the time, look at this run. What if that was a GSL bracket or an IEM bracket
Imagine.
and Dream did that? He would have so many fans.
Mm.
He plays in GSL in 6 days. So
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
group
I-
is doable. It's a doable group for him.
I think so.
I hope he brings
Top-
it
top
because
of the
he freaking brought it, man. We queued up for this Dream Dark best of 5 finals, and we were like, oh man, this is gonna be a barn for like both these players. And then it was just 1, 2, 3,
Wow.
Dark
Oh, yeah.
out, KO'd. It was like watching a speed run of Super Punch Out when all the guys just like flying across the mat. It was
Yeah. Dream got the star.
It's like
punch.
an episode of One Punch Man. Literally, just like
Oh, that could be a video.
be
Oh
better.
my
That'd be
God.
better for my branding. One
There
punch.
you go,
Man.
Fear Dragon.
Yeah.
All right, new anime meme on the way.
Yes.
oh,
Excellent.
so good.
Can't
Come on,
wait.
man.
Anyway, Kung Fu
Alright.
Cup was awesome. There, one of them happened earlier today. Wardy casted the one today, and then we're coming back to our normal Saturday schedule because we slowed down because of Home Story Cup. But we'll be back on Saturday with more of it.
Excellent. All right. So you can check that out on Wardy's and No Regrets and Creighton's channels, I guess.
Thursday, not Saturday.
Congrats.
Sorry.
Congrats to Dream. All right. Moving forward, the Wardy TV Team Spring Championship. It looks like Gasp, Rainer versus Clem in the finals.
God.
4-1 for Rainer.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. Look at that. Rainer versus Innovation in the round before. Craziness. Great bracket.
Mm.
Yeah.
Check that out over on Wardy's channel. Congrats to Rainer. Also, the Wardy TV sold out championship. Rainer versus Clem in the finals. What? With Clem winning
Oh
this
my
time.
god.
4-2. Craziness. That is awesome.
Yeah.
What a great rivalry we have.
It's
brewing
really
right there.
cool. I love it. I really do.
Yeah. This is the type of thing that is really going to bring StarCraft to into the future. Having stuff like this, the young kids coming up and they're like
And they're,
better than
so
pretty much
young,
everyone.
man. Yeah.
It's good for the game
Please.
when that happens.
And it's good for the game that Cyril doesn't like playing online cups because what if it was just all, it's
The one online
Cyril
cup that he didn't
4-0ing
win.
Rainer and 4-0ing Clem in the finals of every tournament. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
this isn't
only
where I'm
played him.
supposed to be.
I'm pretty sure he's only played in one online tournament, and I mean he's 100% success rate so far. So
Then maybe he's
Congrats.
that way too.
mhm.
Congrats to Clem on that. Check it out on Wardy's channel. We also have the OSC King of the Hill Weekly. Creighton, did you cast this as well?
great.
I
and
did, as always. It's good to see some more Terrans in this tournament. For like 3 weeks in a row, it was 100% Protoss and Zerg players. I actually offered an extra bounty if any Terran players would actually sign up. I was like, I'll pay you extra if you win matches. And then finally, Kelliger last week started cranking through, and it's good to see some more folks. The Skilless B thing happened. I was mistaken. The Kung Fu Cup is still on its normal time on Thursday. This is the event that happened earlier this morning with Wardy covering today with Skilless and B finishing out. And then we're coming back on Saturday with more. But yeah, this is always, it's such a fun format, best of one. So you get Bly in there just to fuck shit up for a while. And like, you always get some fun matches. I love either Bly. Look at these two results. It's either Bly like gets in and just gets bopped by somebody right away, or he freaking Lakuka and never dies and just stays on with roaches for 7 games in a row. It's delightful.
20 minutes.
No upgrade. That goes without saying. It's amazing.
He's an anomaly though, for sure.
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. We'll be back on Saturday with more.
Did
Excellent. check it out on Craig's channel. All right, Zelnaga's Finest. This is April 8th through the 13th of May over on Wardy's channel. It looks like it's brought to you by Clash, Rainer, Wardy, Rotterdam, and the Red Bull Gaming, where you'll face the final boss, Rainer, live on the Red Bull Twitch stream in front of the world. So kind of a cool little tournament series if you want to play against Rainer. I hope that Clem enters the tournament. That would be exciting.
Imagine that. I'm sure he would love to play against Rainer in the finals, man. That'd be his dream.
That's his dream, if only once.
Can only hope.
Yeah.
That was on
so
today,
check that out.
too, right?
Yeah.
I saw that. A couple of the matches, but I wasn't able to check them all out. But it does seem pretty dope seeing Red Bull getting back in the scene here.
Yeah.
Wardy doing his damn thing, man. I don't know when he turned up or like what sensu bean he ate, but man,
it's crazy.
And
He's putting in the
You would
time,
think it's
no doubt.
also been, but I think it's embracing degen life. Like there were hours like this that you could do as like there's a healthy way to do it and an unhealthy way to do it.
And
I
then
have
a
my guess.
third way, which is the Wardy way to do it, which is even
The
more
Wardy way to do it.
unhealthy way.
Yeah, the unhealthy way to do it would be very healthy compared to the way that Wardy does it with the amount of gas.
It's awesome.
nah, too true.
All right.
Nah, but much respect to him, man. I do.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he's killing it right now, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, there's
All
no
right.
reason for him to stop. He's getting tons of success, well deserved.
Very much so. All right, so moving forward, Legacy Weekly Japan, we had HTT Honmono 2-1 over Nautica. If you are from Japan, play some StarCraft 2, speak Japanese. This tournament is for you. Check it out. They're already on number 212.
Damn.
We also have Underdogs 2020 Season 1, run by O Gaming for the French scene, and Clem ended up winning it. Of course, Rainer is not French, so the finals was Clem against DNS. Congrats to Clem for the victory. There's a Battle of the Americas, aka Cham wins another tournament.
Yeah.
2-0 in the finals over
Cham.
Starkiller. Yeah, he wins this like every single week. I just want to throw that out there for people that don't realize.
Wow.
Congrats to Cham on another victory.
Cham. Yeah, low key. Even
Every
the
time.
Philadelphia bracket, I was surprised to not see him in that.
Yeah, that is weird. He's been playing so many tournaments lately.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving forward, the Grand Platypus Open. It's won by Azure over Demi, 3-1 in the finals. Demi wins that a lot. He was actually on a little Cham streak there for a while, but congrats to Azure for winning that. It's over on the Cranky Ducklings channel. We also have the Aodai Weekly.
Oh, just
I was
saying, I
saying,
love
as you-
Azure's photo.
Yeah.
He's smizing so hard there.
Yeah. All right, the Aodai Weekly, we had number 28, Justice Simon over Quantel, number 29, Phil Cleo against Nux, 3-1 in the finals. This, of course, is for players in that, I believe it was only a Vietnam tournament, but now I see all sorts of flags, so maybe it's opened up a little bit. So yeah, you guys can still check that out, even though players from other countries are joining in. Justice Simon still bringing justice to the tournament with his boy Ben
Nice.
Looks and his victories. All right, 2020 NA Apprentice Season 2, cast by Cranky Ducklings. It's Silky versus Vindicta, it looks like, up there in the finals.
Can I throw a correction there?
Yeah, please.
So Cranky Ducklings does the NA contender at the bottom there. I actually casted all of the apprentice up the top.
Oh,
And
damn.
we just had these finals earlier today, which was awesome. Silky and Vindicta played it out. Spoiler alert, Silky took it. Vindicta looked just completely outmatched. Some really good games, but then by like game 6, I was like, all right, I mean, Vindicta's got to do something here, right? It's a little ugly. But some really good stuff. Obviously, there's going to be a contender and Apprentice Series 3. It's all this. It's similar to like when we talked about the Code tournament earlier with like all this sort of like talent just bubbling under the surface. It's all those guys for NA, and it's names that you'll recognize because all of them are super active in the cups. But there's some great matches despite all the 3-0s in the bracket.
I know.
Yeah.
Man, this is
Silky
Botman's
3-0
left and right.
future.
Like
That's
a game
crazy.
of Bop It, yo.
Yeah. Silky was looking.
I
so
remember
good.
Bop It.
Pull it.
Twist it.
Bop it. It's like a game of Bop It with only the bopping button, you know? There's no
Bop it,
So easy.
bop it, bop it.
Perfect.
and I still fail. Damn. Oh, got me
So-
again. All right, but yeah.
So yeah, these seasons
yeah.
just wrapped up, and there'll be season 3 coming I'm sure very soon.
Cool.
Rock and roll.
Well, check that out over on Creighton's channel. Congrats to Silky for a dominating performance. We also have the Bald Guy Class number 4, Creighton. Once again, you want to tell us about this tournament?
Popular guy.
Roddy won a tournament, guys.
Wait,
and
that's Roddy right there.
That's
And
actually
Roddy's
Rotterdam. Like, I finished the tournament. I hosted Roddy because I was like, he won. I'll get the guy. I tuned into his stream and he's literally playing We Are the Champions and like dancing in his chair.
He would.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He killed it though. He did so well.
Yeah, those are some real players though.
I will say,
Biomac and Goblin, that's real. Yeah.
I will say in the finals, Roddy did get Protoss both games, and Goblin got like Terran and Zerg, I think. So the finals were a little unfair, but otherwise, like Roddy's Terran looked really good.
He still had
so
We Are
we're
the
gonna do Bald Guy Class
Champions
5.
Took a 3-hour just chatting stream afterwards.
I think he was going to cast something. I was going to cast the Red Bull thing with Wardy afterwards, or not the Red Bull.
Okay.
Going to cast something anyway afterwards. So we had to cut it down, but it'd be great. Anyway, we're doing number 5 on the Korean server next time. I'm going to try and blackmail some Koreans into playing all random for me. So should be a good time.
That's awesome. All right. Congrats to Roddy for winning an all random tournament.
Real Roddy.
Sick. That's super sick. And check that out again on Creighton's channel. All right, we have the Sentimiento Latino tournament. Eric over Eggs in the final 3-2, winning yet another one in number 82. You can check this out. It's a very regular tournament. We also have this SCPH quarantined tournament. It's a small tournament for Filipino StarCraft 2 players, and they have different brackets. So if you are from the Philippines, definitely check it out. We have the Gemini Korean Invitational King of the Hill. For those of you who don't know, eMini runs something called the Gemini Korean Invitational King of the Hill. And you can check that out over on his channel. It looks like here, Cure beat Armani 2-1, Zest over Cure 2-1. It's at twitch.tv/Gemini SC2. March Madness Series. It's over at twitch.tv/Prometheum. And it looks like Cuddle Bear won the finals for $50. Pure Legacy's second, and Starkiller third. Yeah, you can check that out over there. Some of the top NA players. We have the Pizza Pie Biweekly Season 3. Cham with another tournament victory and his first pizza. Congrats to Cham.
He wasn't winning that tournament. I'm glad to see him finally win something.
Yeah. And
when pizza's on the line.
of course, we also always have to do our Starkiller check. Who killed Starkiller in here, because he is the ultimate pizza lord. And it was Razor Blader this time.
Represent.
So
There you go.
2-1.
All right.
Can we interject really quickly and say Razor Blader and T-Bull are both on that British team, Red Dragons?
Mm-hmm.
And T-Bull's the name that you've seen a couple times, like Bald Guy Classic. He's doing the Cheesadelphia. He's one of your boys. He's like a rising star. Keep your eyes on both those guys. They're great.
Okay.
That's cool. All right. Congrats to Cham for winning the pizza. All right. General transmissions. Couple new in-depth episodes up. We have one about hotkeys, where Scarlett really goes in depth about the hotkey setups. That was like super cool and very informative. And then we have one where she coaches No Regret on how to macro.
I watched that one. Jake,
It was great.
It was super fun.
There's like Jake on a TV show, and then Jake when he ladders, and that was Jake when he ladders on a TV show. It was very...
Best of both worlds.
He's just shit talking his opponent the whole time. He's like, "What a terrible player! Loses, doesn't GG."
Damn. I think from people watching that, they can see why I get along with him so well.
Oh man.
Oh, I love it.
Oh boy.
You can check those VODs out. Either we did the stream on Jake's Twitch, and it's on my YouTube, youtube.com/ArtosisTV. Check it out. We have the Global Clan Invitational. Creighton, this is another one of yours. Tell us about it.
I feel like I'm talking way too much for my inaugural appearance on the Pylon show. I'm hogging way too much airtime.
We brought you on, brother.
This is actually going to be freaking sick, guys. It's a $1,000 tournament sponsored by. There's this Warcraft 3 clan called the Global Clan, and their manager like messaged me and said, "Hey, we're looking at like dipping our toes into the StarCraft 2 world. We've got $1,000. Can you help us put on a tournament?" And BT Dubs, we're kind of looking to pick up some StarCraft players. So if this goes well, it could be like a really interesting new entry for one of these new teams cropping up. The Global Clan looking to make sort of a move into StarCraft. So we've gotten all basically the top 16 EU players, short of Serral, pretty much. in here, so expect a Rainer Clem finals, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be it's 16 players. We got like GSL style 4 groups into 2 groups into semis and finals, and it's gonna be on my channel starting tomorrow morning. Actually, at like 6 a.m. for me, and then every day at 1 o'clock.
What time is that?
Tomorrow morning, it's really early. We're doing 2 groups tomorrow because we didn't want to double against the Red Bull thing today. So
No,
tomorrow we're doing
people, like what do you?
for the people.
Yeah, you said my time.
For viewers.
Oh, sorry. It's so it'll be like every day at about 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, give or take. But tomorrow we're doing 6 a.m. and 1 anyway. 2 groups tomorrow. Check it out. It's gonna be just awesome. I can't wait.
And by the way, when people like always ask, especially in the Patreon questions of the Pylon Show and stuff, like, how do I support StarCraft if I am a poor college student and I don't have any money? You tune in for events like this where there are people dipping their toes in and be like, should we invest in StarCraft? And literally just watching, you are actually bringing money into StarCraft. Literally just watching.
100%.
Yeah.
If I can tell the Global Clan that we had, gigantic viewership on our French stream and on our English stream and stuff, that'll incentivize them to actually pick up StarCraft players and stuff. So it should be a ton of fun. Great. I'm jazzed.
Yeah. Cool. All right, check that out tomorrow, guys. Also, ESL Open Cups. We have some news. It looks like the DreamHack StarCraft 2 Masters Dallas dates will be moving alongside the festival dates to August 14th through 16th. DreamHack Summer was originally planned for June 12th through 14th. It's going to be in August 6th through 9th. And so the DreamHack Masters will no longer be co-located at the event. They're trying to figure out how to fix that up. DreamHack Dallas, of course, we already mentioned that got moved. I mean, things are getting moved around. We're kind of aware of that. We'll see if it gets moved more. We will update you guys as we hear about it in the future.
My birthday weekend, man.
Oh, well, happy
August 13th.
birthday.
Well, my brother's actually August 14th, so it was his birthday weekend. So I'll see if we can get him to come.
Excellent.
That'd be cool.
That's going to be a hell of a travel schedule for. I totally understand this is not like DreamHack's fault. Obviously, it's like that's going to be a hell of a travel schedule for people, though. Especially if things get pushed back even more. Like, what do you do if quarantines still keep going until like a little bit past August or something? Do you start pushing things back and have 3 events 3 weeks in a row of like Montreal?
It used to be like that. Like Nick and I at times used to be on the road and just not go home for a month and just fly from one event to the next event. And just,
oh yeah,
it's like
that used to be a problem. I remember people used to talk about like how it was like Huck was in really good form, but then he just started deteriorating because he was literally only traveling. I remember that stuff.
Yeah, that was real. Moving on. Spicy League Season 2. Those matches are starting on the 18th, and it looks like it's a team league where players are drafted from the list of registered players made by Caleb Arrakis.
Caleb
Arrakis. Yeah.
Caleb Arrakis.
Yes.
I know who he is as a player, but the name.
Look,
I don't
Dan,
know.
you're allowed to say them however you want. Like you already said Mio Maika instead of Mio Maika. It's fine. You already said what was it, Kawaiian instead of Kiwian or anything else. Yeah, it's what, Dan, it's fine. You get to determine how their names are said.
I do me. Yeah, I'm in charge.
Yeah, exactly.
I usually call him Caleb Eriku. Just get that, like it sounds more fancy and French.
I love it. Caleb Eriku. All right, we'll go with that one. All right, guys, check that out. There's a thread over on Team Liquid. All right. This week in StarCraft, how to play StarCraft, an introduction guide, lesson 3, the Terran, and more co-op. It looks like that is on a YouTube somewhere. Don't really have more information than that. Check it out if you want to know how to play. Amonte's Days, StarCraft 2, 2nd edition. This means StarCraft lovers, Amonte's, if you guys didn't know.
That's fancy. Nice.
Or a Mainz. It might be a Mainz. I don't know. Check it out. It's organized by Legolas over on twitch.tv/CosmosSC2. We also have La Espera podcast. This is basically the Spanish version of the Pylon Show, I would say. This episode, Demon Swap, Jim Ryzen, Horus, and special guest Darkling are on.
Nice.
Talking about everything. Check it out. laespera.com/podcast.
Back in a second again. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. La Espera FFA Battle Royale Tournament. This Sunday, La Espera is hosting an FFA tournament, so you can definitely check that out. They're going to have Spanish, Portuguese, and English streams going up.
Cool.
Right. This week in Brood War, Caster Muse Nerox Star League Season 2. This is basically the equivalent of the Code A League that you are involved with there, Creighton,
Right.
where it's all the players that didn't make it into ASL playing, all the really good players. Looks like Saxry ended up winning it 4-0 over Mighty in the finals. Damn, quite
Taking out
one-sided, but
Piano?
congrats.
Damn.
Yeah, that's that is, and Modesty as well. Modesty is really, really
Oh,
good.
dang. Jeez.
Yeah. Guys,
Cool.
check this out over on Caster Muse's stream or his YouTube channel. Definitely, I'll be checking out some of those VODs later. We also have the Brood War G's Weekly. It looks like number 64, DeWalt defeated Scan. Very nice. Congrats to him. And number 65, Zealot over Bonneth. 1-0 in that finals.
Sweet.
Of course, organized by Russ Brain, who does so much for the Brood War scene. So big cheers there. It's a weekly tournament. You can check it out. We also have the ASL Season 9. Zero ended up, or Zero or Queen, as he's also known, defeated Flash 3-2 in a crazy series. And then just 2 nights ago, we had Light defeat Soma 3-1. This round of 8, this round of 4, this whole tournament is probably the best ASL we've ever had. It's been really close and really awesome.
Those Light Soma games were insane, dude. Light looked unbelievable.
Yeah. I cannot wait for that finals. Of course, this Sunday we'll have Flash against Soma in the 3rd place match, and then, of course, the next Sunday we'll have Zero versus Light. Going to be awesome. Check it out. All right, the STPL. It looks like Season 3 is going to be starting on April 26th. Ash vs. Rev, Bull vs. Soul, DM vs. VT, EF vs. White, IRK vs. NW, and Red Team will have a bye. Check it out on SPL TV on Twitch. STPL TV on Twitch. We also have Schnail, the StarCraft Human and AI League. They are officially going into open beta. You can check it out at schnail.com. It's a very kind of easy to work program where you load bots and you can play against them on a multitude of maps. I did have like a 3 or 4 hour stream playing against the best bots.
Did you
recently.
stream Schnail?
I did stream Schnail. And I tell you, some of them are really good. These bots, the good bots, will beat most StarCraft players for sure.
Schnail was quite strong.
Yeah, there was one that really fucking took me to the limit. Like I thought I was dead, and
Just-
I fought back, but
And
Just
you were also-
nailed him.
Came out
You were
of
also
nailed it.
saying they were like
Yeah.
one of them. I remember you mentioning you were like, "This is actually like I have games like this all the time. Like this is like a human. It's not just like here's
Yeah.
being super exploitative of certain micro
Like
tricks
one
that only an
thing-
AI could do."
yeah.
You said
Right.
like it felt like playing a human.
yeah, there
Sometimes.
one of the Zerg bots. It was like it only did one weird thing, which was it made a sunken in its main base. Because apparently a bunch of the other bots, because they're made to play each other, a bunch of the
Ooh.
bots do vulture run bys.
Oh,
But,
so
like-
like adapted to it.
Yeah, so it just kind of
weird.
blindly does that. So that's a waste. But other than that, it felt like playing a human. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Huh.
But the bots overall are like really quite strong. I was very impressed.
There've been quite a few. Like I know Draken is doing SC like pro bots as with
Mm.
AI,
yeah.
you know, going against each other, and then he had an event where people would play against the bots too.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think we're actually getting into this era of StarCraft 2 where we're teaching our
Oh, it's
future AI underlords or overlords. Literally, like we're doing it to ourselves, bro. Like,
Artosis, do you get more mad if you lose to a human or if you lose to a bot?
A human for sure.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been mad if I lost any of these bots. They're good and they have like infinite APM and stuff. But
Mm.
yeah, it's surprising how strong they can be. So check it out at schnail.com if you want to see my games against it. It's on my YouTube.
Oh, but Dan, let me follow up on Creighton's question.
Yeah.
If you lose to a bot, but it's not like some deep mind, deep learning like bot, it's just somewhat hard coded to do an insanely stupid strategy that just happened to hard counter you.
That's what these bots are.
Okay, so a human does this and catches you by surprise. Are you upset? A human
A human
deliberately
coded a bot.
chooses that
No, the human
strategy.
does the same thing as the bot.
The
No,
human
no, I-
deliberately
On the
chooses
other
that
end
strategy,
instead.
not in the time pressure or sensitive setting. They're just like, this is a good strategy to do,
Yeah.
and they beat you up.
No, I don't
No?
get angry
Okay.
about the bots because they like micro perfectly, which is like they're always shooting from maximum range and dodging
yeah.
everything that's slow. So it was like it was really kind of funny almost. I was like laughing while I was playing. Like
Wow.
I scanned for a cloaked wraith, and scan has like a period of time where you scan and it hasn't detected, and the millisecond that you hit scan, the wraith flies away, so you never hit him. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, whoa, I just can't do anything.
That's cool, man.
Stop these wraiths. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
Yeah.
pretty dope.
Yeah. All right. So check that out, schnail.com. Yeah, they have some more news about that. Apparently, Falcon Paladin is going to be casting replays from people who do play against the bots. So if you want to download the bots and get your replays casted, you can send it into them. Check it out again on schnail.com. We also have, all right, this week in Awesome, new podcast from Zombie Grub, Caster Calls. You can check it out on patreon.com/Zombie Grub. Episode 2 with Maynard. What was that like, Maynard? And Fear Dragon, you're on episode 1, weren't you?
I was.
All right.
Maynard,
Tell
go
us
ahead.
about it.
It was
Pimp out
great.
her podcast. Tell people why they should listen.
Pimp it out. It's a great one.
well,
you should definitely check it out this week too.
We went. I wonder why.
I wonder who's going to be on it.
we went really in depth on my process as a commentator, and not only just like I touched on a little bit on how I got there, which is an answer that like I've answered a lot in a lot of different interviews, that sort of thing. Like how'd you get into commentating? But it was more like it went from that into like the process of commentary and what I think about the difference between a play-by-play commentator and an analysis commentator, and what I think about commentating the scene for commentators in general, specifically in StarCraft 2 and other esports, and just gone really in depth. It was like we talked for like nearly 2 hours, and it was a very in-depth talk, and it could have gone way longer. Luckily, I looked at the clock at some point, and Zombie Grub also was like, "Yes, this has been going for a while. We should probably stop." But it's just honestly, it's stuff that we talk about a lot offline anyway. So it was like just basically doing it recorded for once, and it was very, really lovely. It's something I love to discuss because I'm obviously super involved. So yeah,
Yeah.
look forward to going back again if she wants me back.
And she has a Patreon also for it. So if you guys want to see more stuff like that, she has like a bunch of Patreon goals also. Like I think she already reached one for adding video and stuff, and
cool.
I think she has some others that she's trying to reach. But yeah, it's doing really well. But yeah, if you guys want the behind the scenes, I think she's planning to add some extra stuff to that as well.
All right, excellent. Guys, check it out. Zombie Grub making some cool podcasts. All right. That is This Week in StarCraft, probably our longest ever, and probably the best ever.
Hey, that was fun though. I'll admit.
Yeah.
I'll admit.
No, that was good.
See you next week.
A lot
All
of,
right, guys. Yeah,
there's
thanks
a
for
lot
tuning in.
going on in StarCraft though. Like I gotta say, god damn.
Yeah.
If we actually wanted to put on absolutely everything that was in StarCraft, this would just be the Week in StarCraft
The whole
show.
show. It'd be the whole show.
Yeah. Well, it kind of is actually, because we're basically going to go back and go a little bit more in depth over a couple of things that we skipped that were in This Week in StarCraft. Because truly, anything we talk about is in the Week in StarCraft. True. Yeah, you know what I mean? So it really is what the show is about.
That's what the literal show is. This Week in StarCraft. Like that's what we do.
Yeah. All right.
So-
Let's. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, so is now the time before we go back and start time to cover Tempo's secret topic that we teased at the beginning of the episode. This feels like a very good time to wedge that in.
Yeah,
because I'm dying to hear more.
Okay, so let me set this up real quick. So
Set the tone.
GSL, Nick and I were, not talking about the game as you guys all love so much.
What?
Completely ignoring whatever the fuck the Reaper was doing. You guys know what it was doing and what it wasn't doing, which was getting damage done. And he brought up the WWE is back and making content without audiences. And for anyone who hasn't, everyone's watched some professional wrestling, and the audience is a big part of it. Now, Tempo, how do you come into this?
So my brother is a professional wrestler, right? And WrestleMania was just a couple of weeks ago. It was at the not this Sunday, but the Sunday before it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
My brother wrestles in there, and he was telling me like what it's like to actually wrestle in front of a non-existent crowd, but giving the idea that you still are, even though clearly everybody knows that you're not. So like when you guys were casting GSL, and I heard that, and Tasis was like, "Dude, have you seen this? Like, have you seen this, man?" And you're like, "Oh no, I'm not. I saw a few of the matches and whatnot." And I'm sitting there like in my seat, like, "Yo,
yeah,
exactly what he was telling me." And you guys have been casting without a crowd as well. And I wanted to like kind of like compare that because they do certain things where you would expect a crowd reaction, you know, like looking at the crowd, like, yeah, I just like body slammed this guy through a freaking table. Like, where's my reaction? And there's nothing. Like, dead silence, right? And like you
They're
can
piping
hear,
in cricket sounds.
It's they must have, yo. And I thought it was kind of funny that, you know, we're in this kind of entertainment business as far as casting, and we don't have the crowd to like give you that ambient sound in the background. That kind of it kind of makes a live event, right? The difference between an online event and a live event is usually the crowd, and just like even as a commentator, how you react to, right? Like to the crowd's reaction, which is kind of weird. It's like a loop almost, right? So
yeah, it's like it feeds each other energy for sure. And I
It's an
watched a
energy
bunch of
thing.
those. I watched a bunch of the WWE clips in between after Nick told me about it on the commercial break, and it was
And
like,
isn't it like
wow, it really makes a difference without
Makes
having the
a huge
crowd, no
difference,
doubt.
you know? And Kofi, so my brother Kofi was telling me, he's just like, it's like just the weirdest mindset thing, right? You have to go into this match, you know, you're doing your entrance, like your music is playing, there's the pyrotechnic sometimes, and they have the video playing. And usually this is the time when you're walking down the aisle, like slapping hands with the you know, there, but they don't have that, right? So they have to like give on a show during these kind of times that we're in, of course, but give you that experience as best as they can. And I thought that was actually really cool because they still did it. And there were moments like you guys were telling me where it's like he looked at the crowd to look for a reaction and like, yeah, but there was nobody there.
Yeah. Like when they were like on stage talking and stuff, they're still doing the thing where the guy's like talking and he looks over here and I'm like, there's nothing over there.
There's
Look at the camera.
nothing over there. Yeah. And I was wondering like how that, like, you know, the same as far as you guys live. How was that? You know what I mean? Like, is that something that affects you more? Does it affect your commentary or?
So, well, I think actually probably Maynard can answer this pretty well because of Katowice not having a crowd, but like for GSL specifically, I want to point out that we cast and the crowd definitely gives us some energy and it makes it fun, but our voices don't go out to the crowd. So we're not actually interacting with them. It's the Korean voices that go out.
Right.
So in a way, it doesn't really change much for us. It might just be like a slight energy level change, but yeah, GSL is pretty much still the same for us. The Korean commentators is probably a bit different though.
But Katowice, that must have been something then. I would love to know about that, man.
Yeah, it was very surreal, actually. I think part of the thing that helped was that when we were, like, normally when you cast Katowice finals, and you would know, Dan, because you've done it a couple times already, but you're usually out in the arena with the crowd near the stage, and you have that live experience, whereas we were just like, oh, no, we're going to stay in the studio, because what's the point? You know, we're already set up here. We're already good to go here. Everything is lined up. We don't need to set up a new setup for a new desk out in an empty arena. So we never had a crowd at any point. We had no one to interact with at all. And personally, for me, that affected me a lot. Still felt like I did okay. I was a little bit annoyed at some casts and that sort of thing, but for other reasons other than energy. Like I usually have a lot of energy regardless because I'm excited by StarCraft. Like the game itself comes first. But it was definitely
that tournament. And you go in there with that same, and it was kind of a surprise.
I just expect, just sort of assume even that there's going to be like a special kind of energy, and it just wasn't there, and it felt so weird to be casting in the grand final of it. Like that was, I've cast a few grand finals, and you can look at those grand final VODs, and I don't think I've ever had less energy and less volume even than that one. I mean, for starters, it was a shit final. But second of all,
it was.
I just you try like you are trying to build up this big moment, and I feel like if you don't have that energy of like thousands of bodies around you just clapping and making noise and getting hyped, like the Sioux final against Stats, that final wasn't particularly good either, but it meant something, and there was a crowd of people that we made it mean something next to with, and I absorbed that. Like I'm a hype commentator. I'm like the bad guy from Superman 4, except the sun is the crowd. So I'm absorbing all this energy, and it builds me up, and I start to get really hyped and really amped up. And when there's nothing, the hype, the energy, and everything,
loop, like in a good way though.
Yeah,
right?
it's
like
like I'm feeding the crowd's feeding me. I usually always say stuff like, I'm got a music background. So from the band days, usually we'll just say like the crowd's being quiet and they haven't said anything for a while because usually they're just concentrating on the game or something. In between games, I'll always try and rile the crowd up, especially if they're on camera. Yeah, exactly what Creighton said. I'll raise the roof and I'll do it just like that, so I look like Oprah Winfrey when I do it.
Yes.
Awkward
and weird.
Like I'm a
Perfect.
really hip 50-year-old lady. But no, but you know what I mean. All jokes aside, I love that feedback loop of like Tempo put it of making the crowd get loud, which makes me get loud, and we're just we're having that really sick energy. And that's just
thing, man. Yeah, everybody's feeling it, and like it's the finals. Even like the actual ceremony seems so awkward,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
everything was just weird. It was just weird, man. I didn't even want to call it bad, but it just was
bad. It's just
it was different. It was
and it's just
weird. And I'm just like, like when it ended and everyone's just sort of, we walked out on stage and took a photo and it was a lovely photo and it was just empty and silent. And I'm just like, I guess
this could be you know in your mind it could be so much more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Given the circumstances, though, I still say like what, y'all put on like an ill-ass show, and the fact that we were able to watch it from. But I could obviously know as far as like, damn, it could be like what could be, but that
was kind of what was driving us. That was driving me, at least, was just the whole like, okay, we know we still have a large crowd online, and we're going to try and make it a really good show for them. Like just concentrate on the fact that there are people out there. Yeah, we don't see those people, but we know they're out there, and we're going to put on a show for them, which I'm sure the WWE does, and to a lesser extent UFC as well. I'm a UFC watcher, and I remember when the coronavirus hit, they had that one UFC event was just 0 people, like nothing in the crowd. It was in Brazil, I think. Like it was a Brazilian UFC event, and there was nothing, and every slap on like a body was just like echoing out into an empty hole. And it's just like you hear a lot of reverb because there's no bodies to absorb that sound in the crowd. It's just bouncing off cement walls.
Just like,
so
it's just
like
echo. So for like the whole WWE, when WrestleMania is like one of the biggest events of the year for them, right? So when you become a champion at WrestleMania, like your career, literally, like this is the culmination of you as a wrestler, right? It could be 12 years in the making. My brother ended up winning it last year, and it was the best moment. His kids came out into the ring, like they hopped the thing and like they let it happen. But this year, the guy that won it is another guy that was well deserving of the title, and it just felt so empty, where it's like this is like such an important part of your career, yet
sounds like the WWE needs
you want it for him. You want it like you that crowd, like. Yeah, you deserve it. Like, and they all chant and stuff, and then they'll have family members come in and people crying, people like reacting around the world with like in the bar and whatnot. So it was just one of those things where it's like, what, I'm glad that it happened, but it just feels like obviously Mother Nature kind of cheated us out of some good shit this year, man.
Great equalizer, man. Mother Nature's a bitch sometimes.
And we've been so good to Mother Nature over all the years. We should expect.
That's right. We've been treating her so well.
I know.
She's been locked in humanity's dungeon with a dog collar on us. But it sounds like the WWE needs to pay Fear Dragon a bunch of money to make a clap bot. That's what it seems like.
God, no.
Hard agree.
Can you get your brother to get Vince on the phone? Like, just get Vince to call up.
Probably, I don't know. Vince is
call up Fear Dragon.
Slippery snake, man.
He's a bit slippery, but he's very, very rich, and also needs to have a hype around his events. So
yeah,
that's all we need.
That's my secret topic. I thought I just wanted to like pick your brain, or I didn't notice that GSL was that way as well. But as far as being in a live audience, all of a sudden having no audience, and like how it affects you as a caster or an entertainer or whatever.
Yeah, I can definitely say that it definitely affected me a lot. Yeah.
Word.
Not in a good way.
Good talk. Yeah. I know, but you know what?
It's a cool topic.
It is what it is, and you guys, the show must go on.
It feels like it's going to be more relevant going forward as well, with it's
we don't know how long it's going to be, and
curves flattening in some places but not in others, sort of thing.
Yeah. In fact, I mean, I think the only live esports events going on right now are GSL and ASL, right?
Is LCK completely done? Like
LCK is online.
Wow.
People are casting
Wow.
from home and stuff.
Damn, dude.
And those
Because I thought
tickets
they were just doing
those
it
are paid
offline with
tickets,
no
aren't they?
crowd.
Yeah.
Pay tickets online?
For
Oh,
LCK.
I don't know.
Whoa.
They're like 20,000 won or something.
Damn, son.
Damn.
Well, GSL's free.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, we know
Shows
which
what
game
the
to watch
better
this
esport
weekend,
is,
don't
yo.
we?
Come
Speaking of, maybe we can talk about GSL real quick.
Oh, what a segue.
Yes.
Yeah. You lined it up for me. Okay. Well, GSL just started up again. Started on April 11th, just a few days ago on Saturday. So obviously this is the first Pylon show where it's occurred. Group A, we had Sue, Bunny, SOS, and True finishing in that order, with Sue being SOS being eliminated. Did you guys see SOS versus Bunny game 3?
Who has
Oh,
not
yes.
seen SOS Bunny game
Oh,
3
yes.
at this point?
I was actually watching that. I was doing that thing. Like sometimes I have something on my main monitor, and then I have like a whatever I'm listening to, or like a podcast, or a Twitch stream, or at this case GSL on the other monitor. And I did the thing where I was like, I was playing actually like Doom Eternal, and it was like a one save run where if I die, it's over and it deletes your save. and I was playing it and like enjoying it and listening to GSL, and then I heard a Nexus go up in the main of Bunny, and I went, wait, what? Looked over and got killed by a demon. And then I'm like, all right, fuck it. And I closed down Doom, and I'm like 100% focused. I'm like, what is happening in this fucking game? And he's getting a pylon in the main? And I'm like, what? I thought it was a recall rush, because I've seen that before, even though it's so strange.
Well, when he made the Nexus, I looked at how far Warp Gate was, how many gates. I'm like, he's not going to have anything to recall. What the fuck's going on?
Like, normally, if you do that, you recall like 2 to 4 zealots and a bunch of probes, and you go all in that way. But even that's really dumb against Terran, because you can just lift your stuff. And I don't know. I was trying to figure it out what he was doing it for, but it was absolutely wild for sure. Like a highlight of the day, I think.
It was for me. It was like the levels of WTF that happened in the build. Nexus, and then he did recall 2 adepts back, right?
Yeah, he recalled
I was
2 adepts in.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? That's the weakest. That's a weak ass recall. SOS. Get your recall game on point, and then of course built the probe in the main, sent it back, and I mean, just ridiculous.
That was
just every level. I was like, wait, what? Wait, what?
It just
wait, what?
mentally took me back to like 2010, 2011, when 25% of Protoss games were won by hiding a pylon in the main base.
Yeah.
Except it was just like one step further, because it was like Nexus in the main, and they would never expect that I'd put both the Nexus and a pylon in.
With the probe you made out of said Nexus.
Built the
just
probe
the
out
fact
of
that he
Nexus to
made
make
the
a pylon.
probe, and he was like putting so much pressure on that you don't even see him make the probe, because like he knows where your attention's going to be. I'm just like, how do you even?
It's because his Nexus was half out of vision. The probe was out of the vision of his opponent.
Yeah,
It popped out of the back, and he never even saw the probe come out.
What was even weirder to me is that, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I heard in the interview that basically, who was it? Oh my god, he did this to Bunny, right?
Yeah.
Bunny was later asked about this, and Bunny was like, yeah, I saw him do this on his stream, and I didn't think he would do it in tournament. I'm like, this is an actual thing? Like, it's not just like, oh, SOS
Yeah, I heard he
improving the shit out. No.
He did it to special, like I heard. I didn't hear that Bunny said that he had seen it on stream, but wow. If you see that and you don't know to look for it, I'm like, what?
I don't even know. Like, maybe I misheard something or something, but I was just like, how is this even like a thing that has happened multiple times?
There was also a ladder game where SOS like took his 2nd and 3rd Nexus on Golden Wall at both gold bases.
Amazing.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's
amazing.
him, man.
What a big
that's our
brain
boy.
Protoss that guy is. I love him. I love him.
But he's out now.
Tasteless' favorite player for sure.
Yeah.
He's always on about SOS being the greatest of all time.
We were so
But,
blessed to have him.
And then he still didn't qualify out of the group.
And he still didn't qualify.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was
It kills me, but at the same time, I'm happy that like Bunny's been really sad lately. Like at I Am Katowice, he was like in not a very good mood.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, there
he
was
had a
like
bad
weird
year
thing.
last year.
He had a bad year last year, and there was this weird thing where like some, when coronavirus was hitting in Poland, he was out of the, out and about, and a couple guys were like being racist about.
Oh,
being
that
an
was
Asian
that.
guy.
I forgot about that.
I didn't even know about that.
This is actually just something that happened. Like it all became cool. Like Roddy actually told them to apologize, and it was all good. But Bunny was just like, he was already pretty sad. He was down from that, and then he was down, and he was just like on Twitter as well. I think just saying like, "Oh, it's been rough," and it's been tough to be a pro gamer right now for him being like he's obviously overshadowed by so many great Terrans at the moment in Korea.
Yeah,
he's not the one that is the first one that comes to mind when you think of great Terrans in Korea. So him getting through GSL actually made my heart swell. I was like, I'm so happy for him.
Yeah.
Because it felt like he needed it, to feel good about his choice to be a programmer at that point.
Cool.
He
deserves it. He's great, man.
Mm-hmm.
His mentality is everything, man. Especially in this game,
Yeah, it's such a mental game.
Even
course,
a ladder game, right? With the bad like, well, already.
Oh no, Artosis has managed to get to 2200.
You guys.
He's doing fine, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sometimes.
But it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, we lost SOS there though, which is I'm sad about that.
It is.
I'm happy for Bunny though, for sure. Yeah.
Sitting here. Good for him.
Yeah.
And it's probably Sue's
it's
last year, I
definitely-
think. So it's also nice that he got through on the other side of things. Because Sue is at that military age.
Right.
Yeah.
Is he coming up like last couple GSLs?
It'd have to be close.
I don't think he's announced yet, but I would imagine this will probably be his last year.
When's his birthday? September 24th.
Like I remember someone made a chart about who was going to military when.
Yeah.
And I think next year, like I remember when I read it, I looked at it and I was like, oh, so and so is going to win like 9 championships because we're going to lose a lot of really good players next year, I think, to the military. Yeah. Like, we're going to have like almost no Protoss players left or something like that.
Mm-hmm. We lost Classic, right? And like
Hero's gone too. Yeah.
Hero.
Dan,
yep.
Gumiho just left.
Gumiho, yeah.
Which probably isn't super important, but how does the coronavirus stuff affect military recruitment?
I don't know. Actually, I don't think it's actually affecting it. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I mean, we just lost True to that too, right?
Yeah, I'm wondering if because even if it would just be that things got delayed a little bit, I'm like, could we see some people who were maybe about to retire be like, GSL season 2?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Possibly. We don't know, right? It's so up in the air. Like everything's so ambiguous. Like, we don't know. I think that's what it is.
I think Korea overall is doing a lot better than most of the world right now with it.
I saw Jinro tweeting.
Yo, Korea killed it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Jinro's tweeting as like board game bars are open now, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, the world is starting to repopulate out here right now. So
cool.
I'm seeing more people popping up in restaurants and bars, and
so I think part of the reason they can do that now is because they've also I saw that Korea sanitized a bunch of things. Like they cleaned a lot of the
really
streets.
Good job, yeah.
Like even just handrails and everything. There was the crews cleaning everything out in the streets in Seoul and putting plastic film on elevator buttons and stuff like that.
Yeah, plastic film on every elevator. The subways shuts down 1 hour earlier every night now.
So at 8 p.m. instead of
it's
Korean subway.
Early enough that I do get worried if we have a bunch of long TVCs. Thank God last night wasn't the case.
Scarlett got you good there. What a solid.
A lot of countries are doing some good things. I know Daisy was telling me that Puerto Rico, they have a system where you can't drive your car unless on any specific day of the week, unless you have a certain license plate.
Oh yeah, cool.
Right? So they'll segment, what day you can drive your car by your license plate.
Yeah, they have that in
different systems in order to keep stuff.
Sounds like a military draft. Damn.
Yeah,
I know, but it's stuff that this is something that we've never really dealt with. It's so different.
Yeah, I mean,
we have that for mask buying based on your number on your ID card is when you can go buy masks.
Cool.
Like a certain day of the week sort of thing.
Yeah, you go queue up and get your mask on your day.
A lot of different ways.
So every Thursday Artosis wakes up, it's mask day, it's mask day. Get down to the 7-Eleven.
Pops in his Majora's mask and his N64 and is just like
yes. Oh my god! Someone must have made a Majora's Mask mod where they replace all of them with different colored NC-17 masks. Not NC-17. That's NC-17 something else.
Easy enough.
NC-17 is a rating system.
95.
Yeah,
whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We don't even
I know what you meant.
like
No
that
one
anymore.
else called me out on it.
Oh my god!
Just let it slide.
Yeah.
I figured you just knew more than me about it. I'm like, oh, is that like a different way to call
Yeah,
that?
the NC-17. It's the latest model, actually.
Oh
Yeah, okay.
Masks. I'm like, what?
Yeah, and Australia's doing like we're actually like crushing it as well as a country. We're really doing well with flattening the curve, and there's been like fewer reported cases every day, and very few deaths lately. But they are still rolling through this several stage quarantine plan where they are still like stuff's going to get doubled down. We're still doubling down. Like it's not good enough. Australia is actually one of those one of those countries that's always been really crazy about quarantine. So it's not surprising, honestly.
I mean,
Yeah,
you're
very,
very
very
quarantined on an island like by yourself, right?
You were already geographically quarantined just by water. And the government, even when people fly in before all of this, it's just like crazy quarantine. And if you want to move here, you need to like show the government you have a job waiting for you. You can't come here for no reason if you want to stick around. So that sort of thing.
And
but yeah, like
unidentified poisons as it is, so God knows what can happen if one of them bites somebody.
Do you want to come to an island and get poisoned by something that you can't pronounce? Come on down to Australia. It's going to be fantastic.
Down. It's in the pamphlet.
Yeah, come on down.
Awesome.
Like even South Africa, they have like military stuff, right? So, I don't know what other countries have that, where like the military are patrolling the streets saying like, hey man, get back into your house. But
apparently India, like I can never tell how much of this is a joke or an exaggeration, but like my grandmother was telling me like, oh yeah, like one of the people in our house tried to leave and the police literally beat you with a stick until you go back inside. They will literally assault you if you leave.
God damn, what?
But like the way I can't tell how serious it is because my grandma's like, oh yeah, and they'll repeatedly beat you with a metal bar until you get back in. Ha! And I'm like, not sure.
So that's where you get it from. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
So GSL Group A was solid, huh?
Yeah, no, Group A. There you go. So Group B,
Nailed it.
Group B happened last night. For anyone that has not watched yet, Innovation and Scarlet advanced. Top had a rough night. He was a little bit outclassed from everyone, and then
I think most people expected that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I love Kiwian Top, but he's just he was in a very, very rough group, and I'm like Actually, I even said in my Discord group, I'm like, I'm very happy that Innovation's come out first, not only because I love Innovation, but I also think this is a great opportunity for Scarlet, because I think if Rogue went out first, then Scarlet would have to very likely rematch Innovation, because Innovation would have probably, almost definitely beaten Top. And Scarlet's got a very rough matchup with Innovation, but beating Rogue, I'm like, oh, that's very doable. And I was very pleased to see about an hour later after I made that prediction. that final series.
About 10 minutes after the game started, you were like, "Oh, this is good."
No, that was a 6 series, the Scarlet versus Rogue.
Oh, I muted myself. Wow. Rip.
Welcome back. I can't tell if it's Discord or if you actually, because it's like Discord's like cutting people's microphones.
It was me, man. I was gonna say that like the whole Scarlet Rogue thing,
Yeah.
That's not a match you say, "Oh yeah, Scarlet totally got this."
No, I never thought it was 100%, but I'm like, oh, this is like a 50, I think. Like, I think that Scarlet actually, would beat him one day out of 2. He
is the player that she eliminated last time she advanced as well.
Yeah, she mentioned that.
I didn't know. I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. And didn't she beat Innovation like 2018 or something like that? 2-0 him? Like, I think it was Codes
at Pyeongchang.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. I recall that, right? Because wasn't there like a very weird Hydra rush or something?
Yeah, it was something strange.
That sounds like Hydra, or that sounds like Scarlet.
What game was that? The first time they met, or was it the second one?
No. Like that, Scarlet and Innovation have played each other so many times.
Yeah.
But Innovation Scarlet, I think last time at GSL was 2018. They were in a group together, and I think I was actually round of 16, and she beat him 2-0. It was really hype.
Nice.
Really hype. Yeah.
Well, it was, the group itself, though, I think wasn't as interesting as the first group. It was just kind of like one-sided. Everything was 2-0s. Everything, like even Innovation versus Rogue was kind of just kind of smashed him, right? Like Innovation just looked like by far the best, and
it was one of those games that was like impressive to watch mechanically, where you're like, wow, Innovation is so good at the game, but actually as like a spectator, I wasn't like sucked in. There was no WWE like elbow drops happening during the game. It was all just like, wow, Innovation's a fucking machine.
3 other players. Yeah.
Wow, that is a lot of Marines Innovation.
Wow, you can target fire with your tanks.
It did seem like nice though to see Innovation in that shape though too, right? Because like there was a moment of doubt where Innovation was kind of like, oh, or sometimes he doesn't care. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like when it comes to GSL time, he definitely does show up. But damn, did
Even
he
in-
show up? Damn,
Yeah.
did he show up, man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even that
Even
first
in,
game.
and do you remember that? Did you see the like the downtime content for GSL or in between matches where Innovation's like, "Oh, I play a lot of League of," and then they just cut it. Makes you wonder: is he one of those
Yeah.
kids that's just fucking amazing and he doesn't really need to practice that much? I
Probably
wonder.
at this
Masa?
point.
Masa's like that.
Mm,
If you
yeah,
guys don't know about the NA scene, Masa, like he's an anomaly too. Like he'll come to Philadelphia and be like,
Well,
"Oh,
I look
like,
at his build orders and I understand why he can do that. Okay, there's plenty of proxy
That's wild,
barracks
man.
and
yeah.
the double BC. I'm like, okay.
I do wonder.
Yeah.
That is a genuine. If we got time for it, that is like a genuine question I have though for Dan. Like, what? Because I remember when the generic Green Wings released some of their promotional videos last year, they were like talking about how they all rank each other based on how good they are at League of Legends. Are these guys to the point in their
right?
StarCraft? Yeah, they were like who's the best League of Legends player? He's paying for dinner or whatever. And I wondered like how are these guys far enough in their career where they can play 8 hours of StarCraft a day and that's good, or they can play like 4 hours of StarCraft a day to keep up on build orders and meta and stuff, and then 4 hours of League of Legends just to keep their mechanics in. Is that a thing?
Yeah,
Am I making that
I
up?
think that at the top people, I think that is true because we don't have a very big up and coming Korean scene when you think about it, right? Like
True. Yeah.
there's a
Like
few
Zound,
players that are coming up.
like,
yeah,
When you think
Zound,
about
Dynamite,
it, who
you
else do
know.
think?
yeah, like Personal
it's like-
Prince.
There's a few and they're pretty good, but you can see that like look at how top played compared to Innovation, right? There's
Right,
like
Exactly.
right.
a giant gap between the very top Koreans and the next ones. But yeah, I think some of them, they don't need to necessarily play as much
It's
anymore.
like 8 hours a day, right?
But-
Like your
but you
mechanics
also-
are probably there, but
Yeah.
You've
Seems
also
that
said
way.
before, Dan, that you're a big believer of the fact that you start to like lose like value from practice after a certain amount of hours, though, as well. Like you just
Diminishing returns.
Yeah.
like you'll really
Academic,
retain maybe the first 3 or 4, and then maybe the next 4 hours is like a little bit just sort of like you're putting in the hours, but you're not really getting as much as the first 4. Like you could have stopped at the ended at the first 4 and then done something else with the rest of your time. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Human brains don't do well with more than 3 hours at a time. That's a fact. That's like actually proven.
yeah.
No,
That's
I
about
agree with that too, man.
But the ones that
Dang.
are at the top have been grinders, though. Like Innovations,
Grinders,
obviously,
for
like
sure.
from Brood War, when he was bogus, and he knows all about that Kesper regime. He's played the game, no doubt, 14 plus hours a day, and had those days in these past.
Yeah.
And I know that Cyril actually is a guy that doesn't practice a ton compared to other European players. Like you got Bly playing 1,000 tournament games every day, and then you got Cyril who doesn't play in anything ever and just has his own practice and. Even got removed from a legal act for being inactive before IMK Vita.
What?
He was literally like,
It's just like
he got
like,
removed for being inactive.
don't know.
But and when I've asked him, like he usually only practices like 4 or 5 hours if he's going to have a lighter session.
Even during
Okay.
his
Which is
like
fine.
peak performance and stuff, when he was really starting to dominate all the WCS circuit stuff, I remember he would say like, "Yeah, I only spend about 6 hours a day on StarCraft. Like, that's it."
Which is it makes me wonder though, like what that number that we always say, 8 to 12 hours. I think that's more of a number where it's. Let's be real, it's a much more mechanically demanding game, right? So maybe thinking about the game a little bit more when it comes to SE2 might actually help you more than just
Honestly, I think
playing.
I think in StarCraft 1 as well, though, really, that was just kind of
It
like the
might be better.
Kespa number, right? Is like,
Yeah.
they're
that
like,
was like
well,
the number
we
that
have,
was always fed to me all the time.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
they were made to do that, but that can't
Was
be
it
optimal.
ideal?
It
Yeah.
can't be. There's no way
can't
that
be.
just
There's no way
draining
that-
yourself
yeah.
every day all the way is correct.
Right.
But,
I agree.
yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
Can we
GSL
talk-
guys,
Can we talk
check
about
it
one
out.
more thing?
Yeah,
Sure.
please.
I don't want to like extend the thing too much, but
No,
we
no
didn't talk about Rogue Scarlet yet, which I don't know if
Okay,
it's worth
yeah.
talking too much about. But if you didn't see it, Scarlet.
Well, it might take longer
Yeah.
talking about it than it actually.
Yeah, that's true.
that happens.
But
Yeah.
So, quick overview for those who didn't see it. Scarlet cheesed. What's the polite word for cheesing the fuck out of someone?
She was
think you
just
nailed it.
filthy. It was
disgusting.
Strategically sound. She was
Yes.
very no
Yes.
regret levels of efficiency.
Yes, an efficient early aggressive strategy.
Very,
2 games
very
in a row to bop Rogue out. And so I actually,
Yeah.
this is 100% of what I prepared for this Pylon show.
Yeah.
So for those of you who have competed at video games professionally before, because I never have like been a competitive gamer, it looked to me like Scarlett had prepped those builds just to turn the screws on Rogue when she was ready for it. And I wanted to ask, is there a difference when a player is preparing in like a group like this? Is there a difference in your practice between preparing for your game against Rogue and preparing in general for the group? And if so, how do you what's the difference between those two styles of practice? And how do you decide how much time to spend? Like, okay, if I come up against Rogue, I'm going to spend 50% of my practice time for this game, and my other 50% is my usual mechanic meta practice.
My real answer
For the guys who competed, what does that look like?
Let's get Scarlett to like actually, like tell us that, right? Because we can speculate and oh yeah, well there's this and that, but the I don't know, the reality of it would be
So
we don't necessarily know, right? Like
I think different players practice for groups in very different ways.
Okay.
About those two particular builds, the foreign team house is very close to where I live, so we rode the train back home together.
Nice.
And so I got to talk with her, No Regret, after the tournament quite a bit, and No Regret told me what strats she was going to use beforehand. But like the game 1 build, which was, for anyone who missed it, it was 14 gas, 13 pool, 12 hatch, and that makes the hatch look like hatch first, because the overlord comes in scouts, and then you start a queen and cancel it, so that you have the minerals. But so it looks like you're making an extra queen as well. Yeah, no, it was like really planned out. But they like fine-tuned that build on the PC in the studio right before, like during Rogue versus Innovation, basically.
Really?
Yeah, like they
that's
actually
like a variation. That's like a variation of the hatch with drone cancel or the extractor trick.
Yeah,
but it was like it was almost tailored to Rogue, because a lot of people do this like build with the extractor trick and then the speedling all in, but you can kind of fish it out. But the way that it happened in GSL was so different. I was like, what the hell is going on? And it worked.
Yeah. No, it was pretty brainy. I think the next episode of In Depth will probably have this strategy
awesome.
explained a bit more deeply.
If you can ask them what the practice regimen looks like for, I'd be. That's like I said, I've never been a competitive game player before, and I'm always curious as to like how you change up your practice. And if you see those speed bumps coming, how much time you can devote that's valuable to being like, all right, I'm gonna fuck this guy up.
Yeah. I think no one has a perfect answer for that. But.
I'd also love to hear your thoughts on like game 2 with the, like, the spine crawler, like the
drone one
kind of thing. So like
that's not like a new build by any means either, right?
Yeah, it's not new, but like one thing I've always heard a lot of, especially like pro players and stuff, I've heard multiple people tell me like, oh, you build the spawning pool on the edge of creep so that you can like block off area where the spine crawlers are. But like literally what happened yesterday, which is Scarlet walls her spine crawlers with the spawning pool and reduces surface area. I'm like, that's why I never understood why you're supposed to put your spawning pool at the edge. So like
Yeah, actually, I was lucky enough to ride the train home with them, and so she was saying that Rogue misplaced the spawning pool 1 hex, I believe, and that Europeans place it at that location, because then what they can do is throw down evolution chambers to block the spines.
Oh, the spines. Okay.
But his was misplaced slightly, so it worked extra well. From what I understand on that.
So it was like a beautiful.
I wasn't aware
it just
of
happened.
Yeah.
So like my idea is that like if Scarlett was planning to do that anyway, obviously she can't, account for the fact that Rogue was gonna misplace his spawning pool, right? She was gonna do it anyway, though.
The thing is, I think it can still work, regardless.
I think it doesn't matter super much about the spawning pool. I think it doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter where it is. Picking off the Bailey nest and forcing him to go for a third base is like how you.
A lot of people, there's like many ways to deal with it, but like, man, the surface area thing in Rogue just like seemed, oh shit, like what have I done, And those seconds are so valuable, right, in those games. And if it's a ladder game, you're like, yeah, whatever, we go to the next one. But this is fucking GSL, right? And it's like,
Rogue
this is not happening.
Gutted. He looked pretty gutted after that 2-0.
Poor guy.
I would feel that way too. Yeah.
I had to like go and rewind and rewatch it because I was just enjoying Scarlett's like shit-eating grin on her face. I was like, oh, but how does Rogue feel about this? Rewind.
Yeah.
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 I don't know. I got a lot of enjoyment
Cool.
in
that was
the final game.
It's good stuff.
that was it
Anyway,
was it was a fun
That was
series.
insane to me. Yep.
And well, I guess I've done my best to say what I know about it so far, but I do believe that's going to be the next in depth, most likely.
Yeah,
can't
that'd be awesome, dude. I can't
wait.
wait, man. Me neither.
Look forward to
But
ladder
do you
for
think No
Zergs.
Regret will have a lot to say about that series?
no.
Of course.
Oh yeah, of course.
What? He's gonna be
this
on.
is his type of
Oh, by the
series.
way.
Oh, sarcasm. Sorry. Yeah.
All right, so that is GSL, guys. Check it out on Saturday. We have the next group. Saturdays at 1 p.m. KST and Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. KST. All right, let's jump over and talk about the stay-at-home story cup a little bit. All right. So, stay-at-home story cup obviously just finished up. We did mention it really briefly in This Week in StarCraft. Cyril, of course, just dominating through like ridiculous. 3-0 Sue, 3-0 Solar, 4-1 Innovation, who just crushed that group. So I'm like, wow, Cyril looking pretty good, as I guess kind of expected. What did you guys think about the tournament? Were there some games that really stood out for you? All that type of stuff for people who may have not seen very much of it or any of it yet.
I mean, we were talking about how, if you're a Protoss fan, you might have to watch the earlier stages of the tournament.
Those could be a bit depressing too, by the way. I'm just throwing that out there.
And so unfortunately, it wasn't a good showing for the shiny aliens. But for the gross ones and for the humans, it was actually quite nice. But I really am such a big fan of Clem and Innovation in their series. I thought it was quite cool. Really went down to the wire. Strangely enough, I was actually casting very early on for the Stay at Home Story Cup, like Group A with Rotterdam, and Going Through Blunder had a really sick PvT against in his group, which was like on Eternal Empire, and that was a really, really fun game. Just that game in particular. Other games in the series not super amazing, but it was a very cool showing from some of the big names. And if you see a big name in there and check it out, like Reyna had some great games. A laser got really deep. Laser got really deep.
Laser, oh, it's such a shame, man. When I was watching, oh my god,
You're cutting out, mate.
You're cutting out, buddy.
Oh,
yeah,
am I?
you have to start again.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Well, say whatever you said about a laser again.
So what I was saying is like a laser watching his games, right? And then when he went up against Innovation, right? I think he was up like 2-0. And I'm like, wow, he's about to 3-0 Innovation, you know? And all of a sudden Innovation turned up and unfortunately 4. Yeah.
That is a giant shift for a laser. Like, remember his first like really big BlizzCon when he played TY, and it was just like, oh, his ZVT is no good.
It just sounds.
Now
It
he's
looks
like
so.
Yeah.
And he does it with a lot of this early game pressure, right? And I feel like Innovation would overreact to it, but he would still play greedy. Yet, a laser would win the games even when Innovation played greedy in the first 2 at least. And I don't know what happened in the last 3 ones, but damn, man. I thought that it was going to be a laser finals at first. Personally.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I was surprised to see Reyna's run end where it did. But I do know that I don't know if it's consistent for every European player. There was obviously some that are more vocal than others, but there was a lot. So one of the, I'd say the only downside for me with the Stay at Home Story Cup was the potential of some of the games not being playable for some of the pros that were playing in that tournament because of NA server issues. That was sort of the elephant in the room. And the bad thing about that tournament is that because it's not a LAN, we all have to find cross-server, alternatives. And if you're a Korean playing as a European, which let's be honest, a lot of Home Story Cup was.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to go to NA Central, and I know that Lambo in particular was like a 2000 ms, 2 seconds. It's unplayable ping in StarCraft 2. So in any game, really. The 2000 ms is just unplayable.
That's unplayable in Animal Crossing.
It's unplayable in Animal Crossing. It's unplayable in The Witcher 3, and that's an offline game. But anyway, It's just one of those really rough situations that kind of makes you wonder what if everyone had set that nice little 150-ish 100 sort of ping range where it's perfectly playable for most races. But then I sit there and I wonder, like, is Cyril going to be able to beat people that he normally would beat? Is the ping problem going to be a problem for him? Clearly not. 3-0 Sue, 3-0 all the way into the grand final where he won 4-1. And that was cross server, so clearly no issues for him there. But it's just unfortunate for guys like Lambo and anyone else that's really negative. I know Special is also having some very big ping issues with NA at the moment, and hopefully, I mean, considering we are going to be at home for X amount of time, and there's not going to be any lands for X amount of time, I really hope Blizzard help, or the tech people help with the NA problem for whatever reason, because I know that it's not like people are changing ISPs and all of a sudden stuff's different. It's just that one day NA kind of shit the bed connection wise to a lot of people, and I hope that whatever end it's on gets fixed soon, because I feel like going forward we're gonna need those to be stable for tournament integrity.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that's the only downside to say Home Story Cup. I actually have to give a big shout out, by the way,
Me too.
just talk about the positives of the Home Story Cup were incredible.
There's
like,
a lot of positives there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the community in general, like all you guys watching right now, for tuning in, that did tune in, and especially all you guys out there that donated. That's like, once again, every Home Story Cup, whether it be online or offline, the community comes up, they step up to the plate, dude. They just they smash their donation goals. They've confirmed another one. The only problem is they need to find where to put it, because there are so many online tournaments. It's like, where do you put the next Home Story Cup? I think Dennis said between 4 to 8 weeks.
Toby, man, Toby
Shopify.
freaking.
Toby looks good. Yeah, he did the prize pool, but then the community came in and donated I think it was like 8,000 euros or something or more.
Wow.
Just insane. And
But what? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
What blew
you're
my
right,
mind too was it was more so like the follow up after the last Home Story Cup 20, like how he came out of nowhere and doubled the prize pool. Like, this guy actually loves SE2 that much, man. Where he's like, dude, I'll put up the money for this one, but off of the back of me literally doubling the prize pool, months beforehand. And that was not a small prize pool, man. Or at least to us, I guess. But maybe to him, it's not much. But you feel me? It's like,
I think Cyril even said in the interview at the end of the tournament, he's like, I mean, Roddy was asking, like, why aren't you playing in these online tournaments? Come jump into a weekly sometime. And Cyril said, well, if nothing's changing, then I guess I have to. So we might be seeing, the players that don't show up to online tournaments, like Cyril usually, or definitely not Maru. Maru will show up for fuck all, unless it's does not arrive at anything.
Not going to happen.
You wave that $5,000 stick in front of Maru and he will not leave the stable. Nope. But yeah, no, I think that those players are going to have to feel a lot of pressure to start playing in things like this. Hopefully the Genegrian guys all show up for it. It's really brutal. Like, that's the other downside, I suppose, of the time is the time zone thing, right? It's perfect for Europe. Perfect for Europe, but the Koreans, like, innovation on the last day, his group started, because he was the first series of the day as well. He started at 7 p.m. local, and the grand final with Cyril ended at like 8 a.m.
That's crazy.
That's ridiculous, man. Yeah, it was like a 12.
And he still took
broadcast.
the first map off of Jonas Satala as well, which is impressive to me. That was at 7 a.m. Korean time. He got a game one against Cyril, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, you do have to. I never thought of that. Like, I mean, I have.
How do you adjust that? Because part of the reason I think they do that is because of time zones for viewers, like, because they want to hit the EU and NA viewership. But if they do that, then the Koreans are screwed over with the time zone. But if they play at a Korean friendly time, then like either NA or EU is probably not going to be able to watch.
Somebody's going to get the shit end
one
of the
time
stick,
zone.
right?
Yeah, that's the thing. One time zone needs to suffer.
Blizzard, please implement
even
a
for
single
live
time
events,
zone for everyone.
Alright,
It's about freaking time, okay?
As soon as you figure that one out, right? It's like, no matter what it is, though, somebody's going to suffer as far as viewership. But when it comes down to like the actual players, right? We don't deal with that for live events, because like, we want the players to have we want them to show the best games they can show being in the same time zone, right? Like, in their eyes, they would say like, F the viewers, we're playing at our best right now. But when you do online stuff, and maybe that's why people like Cyril don't really take it as seriously, they're like, he wasn't playing at his best because, it was a bad time for him or this or that. It's not me showing my skill versus like there's a lot of integrity and a lot of like pride that goes into beating somebody at a tournament.
Mhm.
As a player, I would assume. Maybe I'm just
Yeah.
bullshitting, but I think like, as a player like Cyril, he's probably like, yeah, beating him at a LAN is so gratifying that it's not about the money. It's like I beat this person live.
It just feels more convincing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It takes. I feel like it takes a lot of questions out of
it, yeah. And you
I think the wins at like something like a stay-at-home story cup, where it is so meticulously admin and run pretty well, considering it was a pretty skeleton crew as well that Dennis used to run this tournament.
props,
Right,
props,
yeah.
man.
Very good job production-wise.
So big props, man.
Yeah, huge props. And the added benefit also is like people like me who live in Australia and it costs $1 million to send me from one side of the world to the other. I can just jump on a call and join in the casting crew, which is a blessing for me personally. I don't know if people liked it or not, but I liked it, being able to be part of Home Story Cup again. And just make like, because the good thing at Home Story Cup as well as a commentator is that you're not filtered. Like I am usually a pretty unfiltered guy, but obviously when you're at IM or a DreamHack, you can't make the swears.
Oh,
You can't you can't make sex jokes, and if you're going to do it, you have to do it really
I don't know how you do it, man.
really subtle, so they don't notice until afterward.
As an Australian, you don't understand how hard it is for me to keep all that shit bottled inside, guys.
That's
When there's a
great
big brand,
grammar
when
right
Intel
there, man.
comes
Like,
up to you and says you can't make a sex joke, I'm like, oh my god, that's 80% of what I do.
Do you know who you hired?
might as well
Yeah,
take fourth and do something great out the window.
I actually remember my first ever IM. Carmack took me into the players booth and he's like, Maynard, I've seen up a lot of your casts and I think you're very good, but no sex jokes. And I'm like,
You're like, that's a deal breaker. I'm not doing it.
Like,
I'm not doing it.
number one, he's like, number one, it's not IEM, it's Intel Extreme Masters. Please say the brand. Number two, no sex jokes. Number three, don't swear. And I'm like, God damn, that's so hard to remember.
So
all these
Maynard
things.
goes on camera and just like,
Back
And
to
I
you,
just go,
Billy.
like, big ass titties. And he's like, no, what have we done? I'm like, oh shit, I fucked up. My first cast ever. No,
hope you guys
it's
like my cast, Reddit. Don't be too hard
it
on
was
me
a
on my first
great-
IM.
great first and last of hell yeah.
Nice.
But it's just so nice to have that unfiltered sort of like I'm just hanging with a mate kind of thing, which it felt like, honestly. Like whenever I have a Discord call with pals, like with Robbie, we had a Discord call the other day, it was really fun. And then just being on a call with Rotterdam, like I had to be on camera. I didn't really want to have the lights on and everything like that for like a midnight cast, but I didn't really care. It was just cool. We're making jokes, we're having fun, we're impersonating Big Gabe and everything you would do on the couch at Home Story Cup, and that felt nice. It was that atmosphere still.
Yeah, it definitely felt similar.
Too? Oh, sorry.
It definitely felt similar with like Roddy, like, oh, my friends are on the phone. Felt like getting me on the couch.
Yeah. Just grabbing the mates on the phone and jumping in. Zombie Grub jumped in there. A lot of the pro gamers jumped in there, as you would at a Home Story Cup. Yeah, it was fun, and I'm very glad they're going to do another one. It's such a wonderful tournament.
That's awesome. We're going home tonight. Dude, they should play my goddamn song. What's up with that, Take? First of all, I made a beautiful Home Story Cup song. Why did you play that one? Huh, Take? Huh? What's up?
That wasn't crazy.
Yeah, what's up with that, dude? What
I love the chorus. The chorus was the best part.
There's this great Home Story Cup song that you made for Take, and then he's like, I'm going to pay a DJ to make one. And it's like, whoa, hang on. There was a tempo one there already, man.
He did hit me up too. I was a little bit
respect.
Late.
Okay.
Take
you were
is
late.
awesome, dude. No, Take, honestly, dude, much love to Take. Like, he was going to fly me out to Home Story Cup, that event for 20 to actually like do it too. But nice. It was a short notice. I had work and like my cat, I had to take care of LB, the one that you saw before. Oh, he's sleeping.
The kitty cat. Yeah. Hey, kitty. Looks like a Zergling.
Oh, he's next to it too.
It's about to become a baneling. You better kill that thing. I can see what happens when a Zergling's called up like that. That's when you target fire it with the tanks.
Smart.
But yeah, much shout out to Take, but like play my goddamn song on the next one. Like that's all I'm saying.
Clip that 3 seconds. That's it.
Play my goddamn song.
But overall, Home Story Cup was just freaking great, man. Like earlier, Artosis, you were like, oh, which matches? There were so many. I was trying to go through them earlier in my head and like think about what I could recommend to people. Find your favorite player and watch a couple of their matches. The banter's good. The games were generally pretty darn good. Overall, we couldn't ask for more, man. Couldn't ask for more.
The vibe was actually very well preserved. You know what I mean? Like that was probably my biggest thing about the whole tournament, right? Because like, how do you keep the Home Story Cup vibe when no one's actually next to each other? right?
Yeah.
So I think that was
You
a
just make it like
completely-
an online party, you know, like
Right,
like I said, like a
exactly.
Discord call with friends.
Yeah, and I think you guys really nailed that. So much love here. This is dope.
Yeah.
Well, there was one thing I wanted to kind of transition into from this, which was the whole point thing that has gone on here.
Oh, this
Right.
one I'm
If we could-
not that familiar.
Yeah, well, let me summarize what I know, and you guys can add what you know. That's, I'm sure, more in the know than I am on this. But okay, so we'll show on screen. Apollo made like a really big post about 6 days ago about the point topic. So I guess there's a couple different big decisions that were made. The Stay at Home Story Cup was supposed to have some points for the ESL Pro Tour, and they ended up taking them away, from what I understand, because there was like too many invites, that type of thing. And then
And Fear Dragon said something else as well. What was the other thing? Fear
please
Dragon?
fill in anything I'm missing here
So,
about the situation.
It's actually, I actually don't think it's a huge thing.
Yeah,
like
it's
a
not
deal.
huge, but-
Yeah. But basically, what ended up happening was Take TV had run their qualifiers and everything for the event. So I think at least some, if not all, of the qualifiers had already finished. And then ESL kind of had been working with Take TV, and I think at that point they finally got everything over the fence and said like, "Hey, we're gonna offer like points for this event." So it was after the qualifiers, and also was an event that had a lot of invite spots. So a lot of the players kind of got on Twitter and rallied up and were like, "This is wrong, blah blah blah." And Apollo was just like, "Oh, okay, like that totally makes sense." Having a bunch of invites that would immediately just get points because they were invited is a little bit weird. And then the second part was a lot of players maybe wouldn't have or would have played in the qualifiers if they knew that there were points on the line, but they didn't. So Apollo was just like, "Oh, makes sense. We'll try and announce this kind of stuff earlier in the future."
Okay. You guys have any other thoughts on the points?
No, it's one of those things where like it was about to become a drama, but then it got nipped in the bud. It's like, oh well, they just remove points, and then there is no drama, and that's
Yeah.
exactly kind of what happened.
How to do it? Yeah.
yeah,
I miss this completely, guys. Honestly,
That's okay. It happens.
Oh,
you can't be
props to-
everywhere. You can't be everywhere, Tempo. You know, you can't be
Props
everywhere.
to
That's
Take
fine.
TV for first. The other thing that happened, which I have to say, like, props to Take TV, because I think before ESL even had a chance to was forced to react and do something, Take TV were like, "Okay, we're removing points. Like, we're not gonna force ESL to like remove the points from us."
Mhm.
And then Apollo also was like, "Yes, like this is great, and we'll do this better." Like both Take TV and Apollo handled this super duper well.
Yeah.
Before it became anything like
Yeah.
annoying to deal with, and like they're both really established, right? So it's like
Mhm.
let's just like let the event be what it was and not like sour it by this potential drama that could arise from it, right? So
Yeah, it's an easy choice.
Yeah. There was a second part to this, which was about super tournaments. And this is the part that I actually found a little bit weirder than the Take TV part. Like that one kind of makes sense, what's going on with all that. But for super tournament, basically super tournament 1 that we just finished up, Maru over Dark in the finals there, a bunch of the best Korean players, didn't get points. And the last thing that he said in the post about that was, it should have awarded points, and I've addressed this internally, and moving forward, we will ensure mistakes like this don't happen again. And however, in hindsight, the decision is even simpler. The super tournament should not have awarded points because it was not communicated to players ahead of qualifiers beginning. This is a critical item for us that players are given notice and will be a requirement for the ESL Pro Tour moving forward. So no points for super tournament. If I could speak to this for a second, because super tournament always gives points towards the world championship, and it's we only get 5 tournaments in Korea a year, 2 super tournaments, 3 GSLs, so it's already assumed that it gives points. And the qualifiers were live in South Korea, so it doesn't matter who you notify, we would have had the exact same player pool showing up.
Mhm.
So I find it, I think that's a wrong mistake. I think that's a wrong decision.
yeah,
I get
guys
that,
think?
and I agree with you. Like, I think that's the way it probably should have gone. But I also see why they maybe didn't, because it's kind of like general consistency. It's like, oh, when we did this thing where we just awarded the points without the points being like announced ahead of time, we got this immediate backlash of players. So let's just avoid that across the board. And like GSL Super Tournament is a little bit weird or different because there are people who there's like no one who would not play in GSL Super Tournament, right?
Yeah. If you're in
Whereas-
Korea and you're a good player, you
You
go to the
are
qualifier and you
in-
play.
Yeah,
But that's not the
don't
case
know.
for
It does-
like the Take TV thing necessarily.
Yeah, I can apply it to like the Take TV one, but like I feel like for Super Tournament, like that is a big event. You know what I mean? Like that is
Yeah.
something that
Well-
is not just like some
For me, the
random
biggest thing
tournament
is that
was
there's
put
just
together and like and maybe it's like the safer decision to do, but as far as it goes, if this was a year, ago, I would assume that, that would be applied to the end of the year. Like, like if you win Super Tournament, that's a big deal. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, you should be
yeah.
awarded for that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I mean, the top 4 gets seeded into GSL's next round, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's still not like a massive point distribution. So
Mhm.
I guess maybe my thinking, if I was trying to explain it, would be that at least the top 4 players get seeded into the GSL, which
So
does
that's
give those
good.
points. And maybe
Mhm.
that's like your incentive.
Exactly.
And you don't want to double reward people, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
what
I
I'm-
think
what
they're
I'm worried
gonna
about
they're
there-
gonna give it to the next one. The next Super
Okay.
Tournament should have points. From
Maybe
what
it was
this
a
says.
timing, maybe a timing thing then.
Well,
But at least it's all clear from the beginning now.
Yeah, but
I think it's a learning process, yeah.
it seems to me, right, because the decision is like it wasn't announced before the qualifiers, so we're not going to have points. But I think that this is something that happens. Like I've seen it being in esports for this long, where companies get really big and they're like, "This is the rule, and we're sticking by this rule because rules are rules, and we need to follow rules." Whereas I feel like this is one of the ones where you can just take out your bullshit detector and be like, you can like ask everyone, be like, Cyril, should people in Super Tournament get points? It's like, of course. Neeb, do you think that people in Super Tournament should get points? Yeah, of course. Bly, do you think that people in Super Tournament should get points? Yeah, of course. Every Korean pro gamer, do you think that
Do you think, yeah?
people in Super Tournament should get points? Yes. I don't think you could find one person that would disagree with them getting points. And
Yeah.
so it seems
Alright.
to me like this
So-
is one of those corporate
I'm with
decisions
you on
that
that.
just is incorrect. It is like as
I
soon as the
think-
bullshit detector comes out, it's like this doesn't hold up.
That I agree with, but I think what it is like the consistency part of it too, right? Where it's like the WCS handbook, it's like
Mm.
it's shitty, right? We know that it's probably right, to give points for it, but despite the situation and how things are, by the book, this is like you can't argue against that. Aside from the fact that what should it be? Yeah, probably. Next time we'll do it better. But if we go back on it, then what else can we go back on as far as that? Like, what else is subject to that kind of discernment, right? It's like one of those things, I guess. And they made the executive decision to say, well, maybe we should just be consistent so they can't question us when we make these really structured decisions of how we're going to run this shit.
It's a
and it
consistency
sucks
thing.
to us because like we know for a fact, like obviously, like that has to have points attached to it, man. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it absolutely should have points, but because they didn't, I guess, went on the ball or didn't announce it to have points, they wanted to keep consistency. I think
safer
consistency is
to-
exactly what you mean, just to be safe on their end to cover their asses. I get that, but I'm with Artosis on the other thing where Korea has so few events
so
that
few
give
events,
points.
man.
Like at the moment, I think Codes and the next Super Tournament, and that's it. That are going to be awarding points for Korea. I can't think of anything else. Like
It's
some of the
almost
chats talking about.
unfair. It's almost
GSL versus the
unfair.
World is an invitational. You won't get points for that. There is going to be, I guess, IEMs potentially coming up, which would give points to, but that's not Korean points. Those are world points,
Right.
Like Pro Tour, outside Korea, whatever you call it, the Pro Tour Masters points. The Dream Hacks and that sort of thing. Those points. They're
don't
not
have
Korea
that.
points. So as far as
They don't.
Korea points go, you can only get them from
They don't
Codes,
have
and you can
that.
only get them from Super Tournament, which I hope the next one does give points because it really should. And I agree with Artosis there that it really, really, really,
And
really
believe me,
should.
I agree that it should give points too. I was just kind of
Yes.
going through like maybe their mentality as far as it goes, and maybe I don't know if there's enough, not backlash, but as far as like, hey, like figure out some kind of system where
Well, they're just gonna be
you
quicker
at least
about it.
reward it,
Just consistent.
and just say like, yeah,
I-
because
I-
it isn't fair, right? But
Yeah. I
They'll
just
definitely
feel
have a
like
system going forward for sure.
I think that I don't know. I've always been of the mind that there should be like an official bullshit detector in esports, where you look at this, you're like, oh, that corporate rule is very stupid here, and no one's going to be upset. And the right thing to do is to give the points to these players who did well, because no one was going to fly in when you said this gives points.
Artosis,
Lamba wasn't going to get on an airplane and go to Korea to fucking pick up those points for Super Tournament. That wasn't going to occur, and no one would ever deny any of this. So I don't know. I just
Artosis, that is your next consulting gig in esports. You need new cards.
I've always wanted
made
to
up,
be the
official
bullshit detector.
the official
bullshit detector, and you can hand it out to
StarCraft 2.
You know, you hear about these people that are like wrongly in prison and shit. If I was president of America or something, I would hire a bullshit detector. I would like, it would be an official cabinet person who would like look into this shit where people are getting fucked over for the wrong reasons, and then I can just fix it. They just like summarize. I'm like, yes, fix it. Okay.
What you're
It'd be the
describing
new
as a
GG button.
dictator,
It'd be the new
Artosis.
GG button. Like instead of GG, it's like bullshit.
Yeah. That would be the dream right there.
We're gonna need Artosis some like
I would vote for
Cuban
you, Artosis,
sunglasses and a
man.
big cigar.
Kanye West said he's gonna run for president. I would vote for you over Kanye West, bro. I totally would.
Thank you. I appreciate
Here.
that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I feel closer to you than Kanye West, so you would get my vote.
I would totally vote for a friend to be president just because they're my friend.
We'd hook you up. If I was
hey,
president
Kanye
of
West
the
is
United
my
States,
friend.
I would hook you up.
Bullshit detector is now playing favorites, by the way.
Yeah, I love it.
Easy a
And that's
bullshit
why we
detector?
have rules.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't think any of this is the biggest deal at the end of the day, and I'm sure that things will be good. I like that Apollo's keeping everything very straightforward in public.
Yeah.
With their rulings,
That's
that makes
very
it a
good,
lot
yeah.
easier than some of the ways WCS handled.
Right? It is good to talk
Yeah.
about, though.
Yeah, it's just not like there's a crew that usually like for WCS. Obviously, whenever I bring them up, I'm always going to compliment them at how good of a job they did, considering how small of a crew they are and how they were dealing with a giant league. But the reality was the communication was generally a little bit lacking from time to time with that. Whereas Apollo has been very, even though there have been mistakes, obviously, and things that the community sort of like about, they have been very quick to explain where they're coming from, at least, like and quite in depth on it, which is nice.
Apollo, Carmack, they've been very transparent as far as that shit goes. So
Yeah, very transparent,
so
But nice.
which is
they have
nice.
the track record that we can assume that they're acting in their best interest, but yeah, it does suck sometimes when you think about Korea and it's like, man, they really should get those points, as far as the end game goes. So
Yeah. Well, okay, that kind of does it for our topics. I think we'll move into the Patreon questions, unless you guys have anything else to bring up.
man, this has been a great. Thank you for having me, man. This has been a great,
Dude, yeah, this has been.
Oh yeah.
awesome,
Yeah,
man.
This is
This is
a fun
randomly a
episode.
very, very fun episode. I don't know what
Seriously,
it is.
man.
Now,
You guys are
what's been
also
better
you guys
so-
are all so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are so
You
funny.
guys are all
you guys make me
great.
laugh.
Wow.
I've
What's
cried-
been better,
I've cried
the
live.
show or the pre-show?
I've cry laughed
After?
twice today.
Yeah.
Pig made me cry laugh on my stream earlier, so he's great. And then you guys made me cry laugh like during the pre-show. And then I think
Both
even
of the
Jugo-
things that you cry
cry
laughed
laugh.
at were incredibly inappropriate too.
they were incredibly
Yeah.
inappropriate.
That's what made him so
Incredibly
cry laugh worthy, though. That's the whole point.
That's true.
Because it's
So
still
Donate
that
to
means
Patreon.
you should
like an oh
also
my
become
god.
a Patreon
you know?
subscriber, or
Yes.
That's my guy right there. He knows how to. He
you
knows
go.
how to plug
I
that.
got you, bro.
Patreon. Yeah.
Hit that
You guys.
Patreon.
Wane. My man.
God, check it out. The Pylon Show Patreon. Oh boy, have I told you? Oh, I don't think I have. You definitely should. Check that out if you haven't already and you want to support the best StarCraft 2 show on the internet in the world during this COVID crisis, my friends. Whew, hit that.
Absolutely. Yes.
Tempo, I need you on as my late night radio D every night.
I need you as my
Amazing.
hype man before every stream
I
and
got
during
you.
my stream.
Cobra's gonna rip that
Yeah,
song.
I'll just follow you around all day, Cobra. All right, how about that? Make it like a tempo backpack.
Thank you very much.
Make a tempo backpack, and I'm really good at spider monkey into people's backs, man. I'm really, good. I'm really
Excellent.
amazing.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into the Patreon questions, and if you guys want to ask one, and at the same time find out the inappropriate things that Maynard cry laughed about in the pre-show, that $5 tier is for you.
I will not
Oh,
tell
yeah.
you. I'm not a kiss and
There
tell
you go.
kind of guy, right? You want to find it out, you got to pay. Get in there.
That's it. That's it.
For the right
Okay.
price.
Yeah, you guys still have a little bit of time to drop questions in there, but let's start it. First question. Notched Cap asks, Artosis never tries to tell us that StarCraft Brood War players and games have been getting better and better. Assuming this isn't something irrational like his hatred of the SC paint race, Zerg/Creep, sorry. How far back in time would Tastosis, LP spelling, or the BSL top 4 have to go to beat the current ASL top 4? All right, I got through it. So I think the question is basically like, because players are getting so much better. This question, or versions of this question, come up a lot, where it's like, how far back in time do we have to travel to beat the champions? You know, like I'm sure everyone's thought about this. Like, if I had a time machine, when could I win GSL? You know,
Right.
Anytime I watch the old MLG, like 2012s, I'm like, I'm in Platinum League, but I could smoke these suckers.
absolutely.
Bit by bit. Like, I'm telling you, man, I could have fruit dealer. Oh man, I would have wrecked that kid.
You would have run circles around him. It would have been crazy for sure.
Oh yeah, I would have been like banana dealer, man, and I would have been like, what? This was not a dragon.
Back in the day when a valid strategy and approach to the game was, I will force field you, or I won't force field you at the single force fieldable ramp. And the entire game is predicated on that.
I know.
Yeah.
That was
Those are good times.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Almost.
Well, in a certain way, they were good times. But yeah, so this question is kind of about like the players that are in ASL right now. These guys were all really good, even like 14 years ago. These guys were all top players, and people were still very good back then. If you go back further than 14 years, well, the thing is, the meta is so far evolved that people would be like, what the fuck is this person doing from 2020? The metagame is so different, but the thing is, mechanically, everyone's been very good for a long time, so you have to look at that. And these players that were mechanical gods even 14 years ago could learn the strategies relatively quickly. So you'd probably kill them for a few games, and they'd start to catch up to what's going on. Yeah, so I don't know if I have a real true answer, but I hope that does for you, Knockcop. Thank you for your question. Okay, Barb for Ross for Barbarossa. I don't know.
Barbarossa.
Ah.
B4 RB4 Ross 4.
Yeah, Barbarossa.
I feel like Dan's brain is just so much more broken from this episode.
He's like, beat.
Oh, carry the 5.
These guys are trying
Please
to
excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
These guys are trying to break my
know.
Manchurian Candidate planning in my head. I'm like, oh, what's going on?
Dan is a fellow New Englander, man, so I got nothing but love for him, bro. Nothing.
Got rid of my accent though, didn't I? I sound nice and Midwestern right now.
Yeah,
Ain't
you
that
do.
Some shit.
You tricked me.
Hey, half
Ain't
of
that
us in this
some
call are New Englanders. That's cool.
And I lived in New
I was born in
England
Boston.
for years.
Oh,
shit.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
What? What? Mass General?
In Boston.
I don't like revealing personal details like that in public things.
That's not even that. Like,
Super
that's
weird.
not even a big deal.
No, because I know at least one of my security
Somebody.
questions on a website. It might be like Pizza Hut
God
or
damn it.
something.
Well, I just
will be
gave it away, so you might as
Gotcha.
well admit
I
it. I'm just kidding, man.
Well, if he was
Weirdly-
born in Boston, probably everybody. But we're not going to verify.
Either way,
All right.
resume.
Barbaros, Barber, whatever it is.
You can do it.
Uh,
Barbarossa.
Maynard said your name. Artosis. This week's ESL Cup was full of new Korean players I have never seen before. James, the Bar TV, Control, Feint, Gilging, Universe. Gilzing. Seems like the first iteration of ESL Cup with some amateur faces. Could you maybe talk some background on them? Maybe a Korean amateur episode one day. Well, there's not a lot of Korean amateurs. I think actually Maynard probably knows more about the Korean amateurs than almost anybody. So maybe you have some ideas about that.
I mean, these names are definitely familiar. I've seen them before. But they're like a few of these players are, you got to keep in mind, not anywhere near professional. In fact, I think a couple of them that you've listed, like James, for instance, I don't even think he's grandmasters. Like these are
there's some people that join just for fun to play against good players.
Like yes, they have a Korean flag next to their name, but they are basically just high level Korean players that aren't grandmaster. Like whatever you define as high level, masters, whatever, you know. But Control, Gilzing, they are definitely high level. And I honestly think that they're still a little bit of an enigma to me. You know, Gilzing and Control often play in the Lima League. There are other Korean amateurs that you might want to pay a little bit more attention to as far as like level goes. Like for instance, I didn't even hesitate to call them amateurs. Like Percival's been picked up by the same team as Kelazor. Prince as well is another great player that's sort of is in and out. He's been in GSL qualifiers. He's got very, very close as well. Dynamite as well is, you know, someone that's referred to as an up and comer, but he's actually used to play. I think it was like a Pro League B or C teamer. You know, so he's been a player for a long time. I think he was an SKT1. I think, and he was on I think Triumph on Gaming at some point, but he's on a new team now. But Dynamite is a very legit Terran player that's also coming out of Korea, and they get better and better every time. Like Dynamite goes deep in the Lima League. He got to top 4.
Can I chime in on some of these players as well? By the way,
sure, please.
Yeah. Sure.
So James and the Bar TV are part of the new Team GP. The Bar TV is the CEO and owner, or the owner and manager of Team GP that just picked up Bomber and Super.
And James GP is right
Joey
as well, right?
Yeah, he is. And Control is on Cosmos Esports. That's the same team as Gemini.
Correct.
So those are 3 guys that you'll see a lot because they're playing a bunch of tournaments. Yeah, and they're not grandmasters. They're like, you know, high mid-masters players, maybe just having some fun trying to get their name out there.
So there is hope for Tempo. Wow.
Okay. That's right.
All right, cool. Thanks for the question, Barbara Ross.
He did it on
I'm
the way
almost
out.
there.
You killed it right
You
there.
nailed it. That was perfect.
All right. Shampoo McTavish asks, for a while,
What the fuck?
the great ideas.
What a name.
He has a lot of questions, actually. He's pretty regular here.
Yeah.
That's dope.
We're starting to get our new
He's
poop
like the
feasts out
2020
there.
poop feast 20. Yeah.
I'm
420.
just going to remark really quick before you answer this question. So many times lately, I've just like the absurdity of being a personality on Twitch has just come out to light, where you have to thank people for supporting a stream. Like a guy called Poo in My Mouth with Hot Sauce will drop like a giant sub bomb on you, and you have to shout him out because that's what you do on Twitch. Yeah, and Wardy and I at the green room at I Am Katowice were saying stuff like, dude, how stupid is our jobs? We're just like, Throbbing Johnson, thank you so much for the 1,000 bits.
Yes.
And my favorite part is followed up with some like super heartfelt message like, you helped me get
Yeah,
through
you
like the
helped
most
me
depressing
get,
part of my
depressed and-
life. I really
know.
appreciate it.
I'm like,
Signed.
dude, thank you so
But my
much.
name is
Wet
Detective Dick Butt.
Yeah,
dude.
Man. I
That
love you,
is
Detective
the
Dick
whole
Butt. That was a
subreddit
really
just for
heartfelt
this.
It's like,
story,
no, look,
man.
dude, Rotten Anus 42069. I'm here for you, man. Just anytime.
Okay.
I'll be here. Like, you know my
The-
schedule. We can chat anytime in the Twitch chat.
The best
Yeah.
Twitch username, by the way, that exists. It's like actually not even up for debate. It's When Poop Was Farts Volume 2.
I miss him. No, it's not funny, man. I legit miss that guy.
Dissect there.
No,
It's
the
like,
name
I
is making me
legit
laugh.
miss
Not that
that
he's
guy.
gone.
I know. When Poop Was Farts.
I
But
haven't
why
seen
is
When
there a
Poop
volume
Was-
2? Is there a volume 3? Was there a volume 1? What was in volume
Yeah. Where's volume 1? I don't want to start a volume
That is
2.
good.
Oh, it is the best name I've ever seen.
Who wants to
I do
One
miss him,
guy-
though. You're right, Kwame.
One guy
miss him, man.
subbed and he broke me. I just thought this ID was so fucking funny. And now every time he comes to the chat, I talk to him. But Poops Magoops is his ID. That's one of my subs, man.
This is our jobs.
Poops
We have to
Magoops.
thank these
I'm
people.
literally
These people
12.
are directly supporting our lifestyle. So
Yeah.
you gotta call out their names. You gotta do it.
Yeah.
I call him Mr. Magoops now. It's just like this
Mr.
guy's
Magoops.
great.
Yeah. No,
Mr. Magoo, but it's
my guy is poo in your mouth with hot sauce. And every time he subs, 3 subs, I gotta say, poo in my mouth with hot sauce. Thank you.
I really hope that I really wish that I could
boy.
like take this conversation and show it to 8-year-old me and just be like, Creighton, when you grow up,
Yeah.
you're gonna be fucking killing it on a StarCraft talk show talking about people with poop-based names.
you go into like a interview, right? And it's like your resume. It's like, well, I did a little bit of streaming on the internet, but
Yeah.
pooped in the mouth with hot sauce.
Poop in
Was
my
a big
mouth.
fan
And
of
there's
mine.
another guy
You should
whose name
totally
is-
hire me because
There's another guy whose name is Hugh Janus.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah.
That's old school.
Oh my god,
James
I
is
saw
cool.
him
That's
yesterday.
old
Yeah.
school, man.
And he
Yeah,
was-
that's it.
that
That's
guy's
it.
a real one.
Mm,
That guy's a real
yeah.
one for sure.
He's a real OG. Yeah.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
All right, Shampoo McTavish. Actual.
Yeah, Shampoo McTavish.
We're gonna spend more time on the name than on the.
That was a
Oh
tangent.
my
That's
God.
bad. That's my bad.
Oh man.
I can't wait for the
All
one-word
right.
answer.
Yes. For a
I
while,
want to thank Parting. Wait. Thank Parting for the big ass host deal.
No,
did
we don't
Party
thank
host?
people that support the
Big-
stream.
big
No, we don't do that.
raid,
Yeah.
big raid.
Not on this stream.
The big boy. Oh no.
Parting,
Okay.
my man. Thank you.
Capital-
guy in the chat
capital
for the
G.
raid.
Thank you for the
Capital
raid.
G.
Thanks, guy in the chat.
Capital
Yeah.
Magoops.
Yeah.
Goop. This guy.
Captain Magoops. Thanks, Parting. Cheers, buddy.
Oh shit.
I'll see you in a week, Parting. Keep
Oh
practicing.
for sure. Oh for sure.
All right, so Shampoo McTavish asks, for a while, Blizz has been signaling that they will stop patching the game soonish. Do they
Have they?
have to make some big changes before
they done
leaving
that?
the game? With the mechanical skill ceiling being lower than in StarCraft Brood War, is there a
geez.
risk we will be stuck with some game-breaking thing that can't be patched? Have they really been?
No. I mean,
I
first of
don't
all,
think-
no.
It's
Yes.
like less frequent. They've definitely been signaling it'll be less frequent.
Yeah,
but I
but I
don't
don't
think
think
I
they
don't
said
think
that.
non-existent.
I
There
think this
was
might be
one thing that the balance team had said, which I think it was like at BlizzCon panels or whatever, which was that they felt like making big drastic changes also
Mhm.
was something they were going to try and move away from because they're not sure how much like effort they can put into consistently doing like massive updates and then breaking everything, and their response time might be a little bit like slow. I
Mhm.
think it was something along those lines. So they were like, we'd rather steer toward like smaller changes that gradually just move things in like the right direction than the
To
previous
give,
massive change. Yeah.
Mhm.
to give credit, to give credit, I think Shampoo McTavish might be thinking of what a name, by the way. It's flawed myself, but Blizzard have said that they want StarCraft 2 to be at a state where they want it to be a bit more like Brood War, where it's good, you know, to
Yeah,
make
that
it
is-
reach that equilibrium of, okay, we're going to make the change via maps now. But I think that what you're concerned about is something being super broken in the game, just staying there. I think that won't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
think
They're
think
talking
that's
about
the
like an
type of stuff they wanna
aspirational
get
place
rid
to
of.
be. Right.
I think
I think
patches
they wanna
will
get
be
rid of
coming in
stuff
for
like that,
StarCraft.
you know?
Yeah, I think patches will be coming for StarCraft 2 for many years to come still, if I had to guess. Like, I think that's still, you know, even though it's not as big a development team or anywhere near as big a development team as it used to be, it's still a development team and they still are active on it. They still are adding things to the game, like MMR on the loading screen. They're still doing patches for co-op. They're still bringing in more maps. They're still, you know, adding microtransactions and stuff like that. They're still intending to do war chests, from what I understand as well. So, like, all those things are, you know, maybe slower turnaround, but still in the pipeline is still being worked on. So I wouldn't worry about something being. I wouldn't worry about the game being left in a broken state. And people,
Right,
whoa,
right.
KXD, but Zerg's broken, Maynard. I'm so funny.
Timer doesn't have 100% win rate.
They left Zerg in the game since Wings of Liberty, Maynard. Whoa!
Now we should also amend and mention
Nah.
that people will still say the game is incredibly broken, and there will still be the people who will say, yes, Widow Mines burrow 0.01 seconds too fast, and that is literally what's breaking the entire game. So you'll still see those complaints, but
Right.
there's not actually going to be massive broken
Yeah, but
things.
the real question is like the bunker build time, dude. It's like it's one of those things that's just been like
Wouldn't it be so fitting if
Bugging
the
you, huh?
last change they made was bunker build time?
Be
I would love
amazing.
I think that would be
That
fitting.
would
A
be
mic drop
the
as they
most
walk
poetic
away.
thing. Yeah, that's
on 4/1/2020 whatever. I would love that change to happen. That'd be
Mhm.
great.
All right. Shampoo McTavish, thank you for your question. I hope we answered it. Lightning Lynn asks, I've seen Artosis play Brood War, and for the loading screen, there are beautifully rendered models of either a Marine, Zealot, or Hydralisk. Beautiful. So why do I have to look at a Play-Doh 3D model of the units when queuing in StarCraft 2? Clearly, Blizzard was capable of beautiful designs once. StarCraft 2 Remastered.
What? I'm sorry,
That's
Lightning.
up to you. That's up to you.
Jesus Christ!
Dan, that's all you, bro.
When you
Just sit back.
click.
Just
When
sit
you
back.
click on the race, is Lightning Lin, he or she saying that when you click on the race in StarCraft 2 to pick your race before you queue, that's a fucking Play-Doh 3D model?
I think that
Really?
Lightning Lin
said
is
for
playing on
remastered.
very low graphic settings.
Can I suggest upgrading yourself from a TNT 2 to like a modern graphics card? And maybe putting the settings up a little bit? Those models are 10 years old and they're beautiful. Well, actually,
Yeah.
they're not. They're like 5 years old.
No, it's
But-
oh man.
They're still gorgeous. Yeah.
What? They look way better than the Brood War one. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe the loading screen. They mean like maybe that shouldn't just be a portrait.
Oh, yeah, it could be.
But they said 3D models.
Yeah, no, but
Yeah.
it is the 3D model is when you're gonna hit the ladder button,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's like if it is low graphics, it does kind of look like Play-Doh.
I can understand
Yes.
low graphics. of
But
that
I
game.
think it looks. I like it, man. Like,
But if I
Beauty
don't have
is
it on low
mildly
graphics, Artosis,
older.
how am I supposed to see Dark Templar?
yeah,
You're not,
maybe
they're
we should
cloaked,
just,
that's the point.
make a DT for the Protoss one, so then you just don't see it, right? And it's like, wow, what a beautiful model right there, because I can't see it. Like,
Perfectly see-through.
perfectly
Uh,
rendered.
Wild.
StarCraft 2 remastered. That's kind of like maybe a little joke at the end of it. But do you guys
Just
think
loading,
StarCraft
yeah.
2 should get remastered? It is 10 years old.
Fuck it. Everyone's remastering everything. Sure, why not?
Yeah, why
Yeah,
not?
because the Warcraft remaster went
I would
super
actually unironically
Wow.
love a brand new engine for
we
StarCraft.
could get rid of
2.
the ladder. Whoa!
I'd love that.
We could get rid of
Yeah.
the on
No,
Archons.
okay, the one thing that would be awesome if they did a remaster for SE2 would be like the one core prioritization or whatever, right?
Yeah, a new client with
Do you
better
wanna-
optimization would be amazing.
That would be the
Mm.
best thing they could do. I don't know if they could do it, but like as far as anything else, I don't know.
So
I
my
like
understanding
the
is they
way-
have to recode the entire game to make it.
Yeah.
work,
Yeah,
like, one
what's so hard
processor
about that?
core.
Yeah, come on, Blizzard.
Yeah,
You know,
that doesn't sound,
It
that
only
doesn't
took
sound
them
that
12
hard.
years to release Wings of Liberty. So
I have a
Yeah,
question.
right.
Do
Yeah,
you
you
guys
make a
know-
good point. That sounds mad easy. Like, let's do it, man.
Just make
You
the
guys-
balance guy do it. He's not busy.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, get in there.
make the
Do you
3D
guys-
artwork guy on the loading screen do it. 'cause
I
he's
mean,
not
I've seen
doing
the balance
shit
team.
apparently either.
They only tweet like once a day. The balance team. I see that Twitter account.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, for sure, for sure.
That's
they,
a
cha-
great
they
Twitter
changed.
account.
They changed the cyclone like 15 times or something. It's like, come on, where's the other 15 times?
Mhm. I'm glad we're on the same
Terrible.
page.
They're so
Glad.
lazy.
Like, and Lynn, the cast of characters here disagrees with your assessment of the 3D model. I guess you can put your
I mean,
graphics up. I don't know.
Look, it's a subjective thing. Like people think that the Brood War loading screen Marine looks better than the Marine in StarCraft 2. Cool, that's fine. But I disagree heartfully. So I'm sorry to say.
I don't know why you hate Brood War so much. You're
So I
such a
think what they-
StarCraft 2
I
elite.
think what they mean.
I
Damn.
fucking love Brood
Damn.
War. Oh my
No,
god.
no. I think,
not
I
even
think what
true.
they mean
It's not
is
even
that,
true.
like,
I have to
You know when
elaborate
you-
too
you know when
because
you
we're on the
pick your
internet
race
and
in
people will
SE2?
think that.
oh, sorry.
Mm.
Do you know
No,
when
right.
you pick your race in SE2 and it's like a 3D model of the Marine or the Hydra or the Zealot? They want that maybe to be on the loading screen, right? Where it's like
Mm.
Yeah.
Unreal Tournament
Yeah.
style or
Like I
something.
said,
don't
like I
know.
That's
said,
true.
that-
I would
that
also like
I would
the
like.
game to take an
But,
extra 30 seconds to load.
I can't. But yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
I'm just
Alright.
trying to, yeah.
Anyways. And just to defend Maynard really quickly, he does love Brood War. That's why he actually invented way back in the day the ability for
Yeah,
you to
the
transfer
worker
workers from one
transfer.
base
Yeah,
to
it's
another.
funny. Yeah, that's
Mm.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Maynard.
Got him, boys.
All right.
You're welcome,
Historical
guys.
fun fact.
Efficient mining. I
Thanks for the
bestow that
question,
upon you.
man.
That's my gift to you. Efficient mining.
Mm.
All right. Next question. Bradida asks,
Ratia.
this question is mostly for the hostess with the mostest, Papa Artosis.
Solid.
Ooh.
You
Wow,
writing this
can I-
down,
can I
Tempo?
feature him on my next? Yeah, I was gonna say, can I feature him on my next track? Like, damn, who that? Who
Yeah,
that?
man.
Get
Him
on
and
my
Cats.
track,
You
bro.
guys are gonna make a sick album.
Me and Cats about to. Yep.
Which has more of a significant inherent disadvantage versus Protoss, Brood War Terran or StarCraft 2 Terran, and why is it Brood War Terran? Much love. What's
Now is
harder,
a good time to
PvP
get a
in
drink.
StarCraft 1 or StarCraft 2?
This is the time that I go to take a pee, I guess, right? Or
Well, the thing is, I think actually StarCraft 2 Terran occasionally has a harder time than StarCraft 1 Terran. It's yeah, no, I know it's crazy because there's like so many different things you have to block, but like when the game state is good, StarCraft 1 TVP is one of the hardest things ever invented by man or god. Okay,
Mm.
it's like,
You're including
It's crazy.
diamonds. You're including like, yep.
dude, it is difficult. It's fucking. I could have been an astronaut, a doctor of mathematics, a world champion sprinter. With the amount of time I put into TVP, the amount of effort I put into TVP, I could have done all that shit by now.
dude, you could have been on the
Instead-
Jamaican bobsled team at this
Dude,
point.
easily. We would have won the gold medal. All right.
In '93, you would have nailed it.
Yeah. With the amount of
saying-
time I've fucking spent playing TVP and trying to figure that shit out, okay?
I fucking love when you talk about TVP. That's my favorite version of you. Is when
Is
you're
that the
talking
reason
about
why you never
TVP.
studied multiple subjects?
I studied one
Who's got
subject.
time?
It was called
Who's got
TVP and Brood War, and it's fucking.
Oh.
I failed just like everyone else, but they grade on a curve, so I'm considered good.
You've just described MMR. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
I got no words. All I got is a thumbs up. I got no words.
Roddy,
Well played.
thank you for giving me this this moment. All right, moving on.
Oh, man.
Paragleber asks, as casters, you have already been to a lot of cities and countries. Did any of them really impress you in some way? Culture, food, weather, infrastructure, etc. Where would you choose to live if location of job and friends, family was not a factor? Imagine you could take those things anywhere.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna get my answer really quickly. Beautiful city to adventure and just be in and enjoy cuisine and that sort of thing. Montreal.
Mm.
Montreal is like it's like
Montreal's
Europe
good.
in North America, like in that continent. Like it's Montreal was beautiful. I loved it. I love the people. I love the food. I love the culture there. But if I had to move somewhere, the place that I've been to that I would move to is Austin. Austin is like
My brother
so,
lives there, man.
so me.
You-
Like I would love it there.
You can hang out with him.
It's actually very similar to a lot of cities in Australia, Austin. Like a very sort of, it's warm. Everyone's really chill. Lots of, organic foods. Lots of people, like very high tech as well, which I also love about Austin.
Nice.
A college-based place, sort of like a lot of college
Yeah.
scene, a good college scene.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like it. That's my answer. Anyway, that's it.
Mm,
Ooh, this is good.
I think. Go ahead, Dan.
I was going to say I really like Korea. I mean, I'm a little bit tired of big cities and would like some more greenery, but I like Korea quite a bit, and I live here with my family, so I guess it all works.
That's
Nice. Yeah, I was gonna say Korea as well, but before I moved to Korea, I lived in Bristol, England for a while, and it was like the perfect mix of like a medium-sized city. Good, like British food is actually decent if you're there eating it. Aside from the fact that it's the ass end of nowhere as far as esports is concerned.
Yeah.
It's more so.
It's really nice, and the weather suits me. The question specifically asked about weather, and like rain 5 days a week is my fucking jam. I love it. I love it.
In Seattle, yeah.
Genuinely, if I could afford it, I'd be there, 100%.
Oh, I wish I could still live in Seattle.
Oh, my G.
It was much
All right,
cheaper.
so for me, I would say like I went to Home Story Cup. I think it was a Home Story Cup 10 in Krefeld. But that has nothing to do with my answer at all, man. When I went to Denver for Cheeseadelphia, oh my god, we went to this place called the Rusty Bucket.
The Rusty Bucket.
I would live in the Rusty Bucket if I had one choice in my life.
You did live there for 2 days. Literally, like I like woke
Freaking
up.
Rusty Bucket,
Oh my
man.
God.
It reminded me of like if you watch SpongeBob SquarePants, you know.
What did it remind you of, Kwame? The Rusty Bucket?
Oh my god, this place was my dream location, dude. I would love to live in Denver because one, I'd be closer to vibe, and then two, I could snowboard one day and then go to the kind of nice climate, skateboard weather. I don't know. The people there are so chill. For some reason, I don't understand why. You know, apparently they were the first to legalize some leaf, but man, I would love. Denver. Let's go.
Jazz
I would love
cabbage?
to live in Denver, dude.
Is it jazz cabbage that you're talking about? That home? The
Jazz
the
cabbage?
devil's,
I don't
the
know.
devil's
That
lettuce?
could have been something like that.
Okay.
I'm not really sure. Kelp. I don't know.
Yeah,
Something like-
kelp.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Kelp.
I think they make
Love to live there.
rope out of it. I think they make rope out
I
of
think
it.
kelp is technically a protist and thus not a leaf.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
Just gotta
look at the
correct
shit.
you on
Look
that.
at the big
Learn
brain on
something new every
Artosis.
day, Dan.
You got
You
Twitch
learn
shattered,
something
man.
new every day, my friend.
You got well
Okay.
actually tempo. You got well actually.
Get wrecked, Tempo. All right.
I got.
Cool. Okay. I guess thank you for the question there. Holly asks, as a casters, do you sometimes be disappointed if someone just cheeses and make a whole series very short and make your screen time shorter? What do you prefer as fans? Long epic macro games with massive armies, or games like Scarlet and GSL, which are over in 5 mins?
Yeah, I mean, let me speak as the biggest attention entire chat. Let me just say that the longer a game goes.
We forgot Fear Dragon. We forgot Fear Dragon. Where's he gonna live?
Oh, shit.
Hang on.
Yeah. Sorry, Creighton.
You guys caught me while I was moving my desk. Okay. Shit. This is awkward. Oh yeah, I would live. So I think Valencia, Spain, was so freaking beautiful.
Solid.
Oh my god! And
It's
like
sick.
paella is. I'm a vegan, and I found vegan paella, and oh my god, it's actually so freaking good.
Nice.
Like,
Better than the
I
Rusty
haven't-
Bucket.
It was better than the Rusty Bucket, dude. Like the Rusty Bucket was okay, man. I have to break this to you. I do have an anti-living place answer. I remember Maynard. I think you may have been at like here for exactly this moment, where we was at WCS summer of last year in the Ukraine, and I walk over the desk, and Kalaris is already at the desk because I think it's like me. It may have been Maynard or it may have been Todd and Kalaris at the desk first. And I walk in, and Kalaris is like, "Oh, did you hear?" I'm like, "Oh, hear what?" He's like, "There was an attack," and I'm like, "What do you mean there was an attack? Like, what does that mean?" And he's like, "Someone assaulted a building." And I'm like, "What the fuck does it mean to assault a building?" And he's like, "Yeah, with a grenade launcher or something." And I'm like, "What?" So apparently, like,
Kiev.
a mile and a half, in Kiev, a mile and a half away from the venue, the night before of like day 3 or day 2 or something, someone assaulted a building with a grenade launcher. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, man. Kiev.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you want to live in Kiev? Where you
No,
people
that was my
attack
anti-answer.
anti-
Of the
Oh,
places
like
I do not want to live.
It's also not super cool for vegans there. They really are pretty much just about the meat and the.
Ate so much bread.
Yes, that's pretty much all he could have.
Literally,
Yeah.
I just had bread. I couldn't even drink water with my bread because the water was going to kill me.
The water was pork flavored.
Yes,
It could have been.
May have been.
Oh
I
my
didn't
god. I
it
want to
was
live
pork water,
there.
That's right. Yeah,
Oh. Yes.
All right.
bacon water. It's hitting the Eastern Europe. What were we at? Do be casters
Creighton, the next
sometimes be
question.
like?
Oh,
Yeah, the next question was about like long series or short
Okay,
series.
great.
Like, what
Yep.
Yeah, so as I was saying, I don't really give a shit about how good I'm just talking to make sure. The only reason I'm talking during a StarCraft game is to make sure that my face is on screen for as long as possible. So when I'm trading off with other casters, honestly, if it's a 55-minute game, if nothing's happening, 2 Terrans turtling up on either side, like the stalemate warning is popping up every couple minutes, that's my jam. No question.
All right.
No, genuinely. I was thinking about this one earlier. The only game as a caster that I'm ever disappointed with are the games where like it's over in the first 5 minutes and one player keeps playing for 30 or 40 minutes. Like we can tell as observers, there's no chance in hell they're gonna win.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the hardest one to, because I'm like generally very excited about everything. But it's one of the hardest ones to continue to keep the excitement going. Like, oh, he's trying. Like it's just not great.
Okay.
Yeah,
My
I like
answer is,
generally longer games too. Personally.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with
Me
you.
too.
I have a different answer.
Okay.
Oh.
So let me give you a little story as we rewind back to 2015. Young Fear Dragon starting to lose a little bit of his passion, starting to lose his desire not to watch StarCraft but to play StarCraft. And then one young man stepped up in North America by the name of
Fear
Victor
Dragon, that was so
Lin.
nice of you to like
And-
bring me up.
There you go, Kwame. No.
Like I'm getting goosebumps already.
Victor Lin shows up,
Oh,
plays,
name.
and it goes by the name of Hitman. And Hitman goes for +3 weapons on 1 base and blinks Stalker all-ins a Zerg player on 4 bases and wins. And I knew at that moment that I never wanted to play StarCraft more than then. I actually feel like cheesy games can sometimes be one of the most motivating things to actually play StarCraft.
100%.
You are you are what I would define as the StarCraft 2 Antichrist. But I actually, Hitman was wild. He was always entertaining in all seriousness.
Yeah.
Cheesy players are definitely a good time. I think for me, it's like I don't give a shit about being on camera or off camera or whatever. I just really like an opportunity to try and do a good job. And I feel like as a hype commentator, if a series is really one-sided and short, it's hard to do that because there's nothing to hype. You know? But if a series is close and long and it goes all the way to the last game, then that's just, that's my jam, baby. That's my bread and butter. That's how I
Yeah.
I put on a better show, I think. So
You got time to tell that whole story.
My take. All right. So I love both. All right. And I like them for different reasons, right? So you can have a long macro game that is really boring, right? But I love when it cuts down, like Vindicta, right? If I see him play a long macro game, there's going to be nukes. There's going to be like a lot of counterattacks. You see Rainer play, there's a lot of counterattacks and like these things you can like dissect as a caster that can't necessarily do in an early game situation. However, when it comes to an early game, oh my God, the micro that happens and like the casting, whenever something like a bunker rush to, dealing with it and like how they actually deal with the actual bunker rush or something like that is crazy to me because of the fact that it can go so back and forth for so long that it is the most hypest 2 minutes of your life that feels like the most like maybe 15 minutes, right? There's something about it where when you're casting something that is so intense, action-packed every second of it, and it's so hard to explain, but when you actually do it and you watch it, it's so intense, right? And it's literally 5 minutes or 3 minutes, but it feels like it's so much longer. So there's different like feelings of how you build up to a game to get to a point, or when it kind of kicks in right off the bat. And then it continues to be like that for the next like 2 minutes. But it's like the first time you have sex, right? Like that's the best like 2 minutes of your life, right? Like I'm telling you, bro.
2 minutes. Wow.
Yo,
damn, dude, you were a great performer when you started. God damn,
that's really
what
impressive.
I'm saying. And I feel like that's what it's all about.
Were you nervous
when
or
it comes
something,
down
or-
to like cheesy games, it's so different than like a longer game where it's like I'm more experienced right now. I understand the intricacies of the game. This is a great game, and like, this happened here, and now he's down by this much supply, and sure, blah 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 blah. The mid game happened, and fuck all that, dog. I want to get right into that shit, right? Where it's just like, boom, wow, oh my god, the bug is going to, the ravages.
I just feel like he's
the ICV. Yep,
I can't get away from that.
Absolutely.
He's just talking about sex right now. He's just like, fuck all that, man. I just want to get in there. You know what I mean? And then just, whoa.
It's one of those conversations where like, oh, I could say that. That'd be fun. Oh, that'd be really fun. Oh, he's talking about this would be really funny to say too.
But it's so true. Like when you cast a game like that for the first time, I think it's awesome because of the fact that it's so short period of time, but so much stuff happening that it feels like a 20-minute game in 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's different.
No, that's a well thought out response. Those
Very
are
well
always
thought out.
fun moments to
Oh, for
ask,
sure.
no
For
doubt.
sure. That's my answer, Artosis. I hope you're happy with it.
I hope Paulie is happy with it. Thank you for your question, Paulie. Fridge Raider asks, you passed your StarCraft driver's license test. You can now choose any StarCraft unit as a vehicle of transportation. What's your vehicle of choice? Riding an Ultralisk sounds cool, but also seems like a pain in the rear. So I'd choose to drive a Diamondback.
Solid choice.
That's from the campaign, Artosis. You haven't seen that unit yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
In the campaign with the trains. You
One of
gotta.
these days.
Yeah.
One of these days. What unit
answer
would you
is-
guys use as your personal vehicle?
My answer is time is money. My time is very precious, especially lately. I've stopped having patience for things that I would have had patience for in the past. So I would grab the fastest unit in the game. I would grab an Interceptor. That's my ride.
Damn.
Solid.
okay.
I'd go for go ahead, Fear Dragon.
Oh, I was just gonna say, in light of everything that's been going on, I'm really trying to stay in self-quarantine. I would choose a missile turret. I'm not gonna move.
All right.
You wouldn't get dizzy? I'd get dizzy in a missile turret.
That's true. But you gotta enchain yourself somehow.
That's true. I'd go for a Colossus. I'd want to like put on a cowboy hat and ride it
Let's go.
like friggin' giraffe or something. That'd be dope.
I would sit in a Mutalisk's mouth, I think, and just like have it fly me around everywhere. It's like my personal plane.
Make sure you're at the correct end of the Mutalisk, though.
Yo.
Because I think I always
it would be
was
warm in
confused
there.
where the mouth
Yeah.
is on the Mutalisk when I first started playing
I
Blue
might
War.
be confused too. Yeah.
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 I'd say a drone because they're like it's feel like you put your quarter into that machine to ride the horse, but your ride lasts forever. That would be me, personally.
All right. Cool. All right. Thank you for the question, Refrigerator.
Very thoughtful.
All right. Some drunk Canadian asks, who had the bigger big brain strat? 1, SOS Nexus in enemy base to build a probe, to build a proxy pylon to warp in DTs. 2, Scarlet building those 3 spines around Rogue's Pool. Or 3, that pro set did that thing in that game against Artosis. Sending much love from my
That's
corner
obviously 3.
in my basement. I think the SOS play is like one of the ones I'll never forget.
Mm.
No
I'll
question.
never forget that.
I'm going
stupid
for- I'm
game.
going
That's
for
number
one.
Yeah.
One.
What is the reference for the thing that the Protoss did versus you?
Oh, it's just always.
I
put
just
up.
a bunch of idiots do
any-
idiot
yeah.
things against me on my
Okay.
stream all the time.
Idiots
Yeah.
doing idiot things.
Yeah.
Now we're getting it.
Trolling
Yes.
you
It's, it's a general
Yes.
umbrella for
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
Protosses. You know,
Got it.
How
in those
brilliant
games.
were they? Yeah.
Yeah, big brain.
Did they reverse the capitalization of SOS?
Yes.
Did it?
Yes, he did.
Okay. That's
And they're not dollar signs either, which is even more incorrect.
That is, yeah, that's a problem.
Do we all agree on the SOS Nexus?
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Big brain play. Big brain play of the year. All right. Thank you for the questions. I'm drunk Canadian. All right. Seat Zero asks, Brood War question for Lovely Dan. Theory time. If the map makers lost their mind for the next wacky ASL map and made the main bases have no gas in it at all, how would that affect each matchup? Would any non-mirrors be reasonably balanced? No, I don't think they would be reasonably balanced at all. Static D would be really strong. Marines would become stronger than Zealots and Zerglings, but they can't beat cannons or sunks. So,
What
yeah,
would
I'm
happen
not
in
sure how that
ZVZ?
would end up, but it would be gross. It would be really, really gross.
What would happen in
Um,
ZVZ if you have no Zergling speed and you can't tech to mutas?
Oof.
Yeah. Well, it would just slow Zerglings, wouldn't it? That would be a terrible game.
Zerglings,
It'd be a
25
slow
minutes
Zerglings
in on
and
still 12 drones.
It
Yeah.
happens
Dude.
sometimes.
Oh.
That would actually
does.
make the game a turtle fest, right?
Yeah, I think it would. I think you'd get a lot of Sunkens up and just, yeah. That would be so weird.
You'd have to, yeah.
Oh, that would be a
Sounds gross.
terrible game. Thank you for that, Say Zero, for making us imagine how bad we could make it.
Ugh.
All right. Thanks for the question, man. Optional Player asks, I recently blogged about my favorite songs, not soundtracks, from video games. What's yours? Check out Homeworld, the beginning and the end. Okay, favorite songs from video games. What's your favorite songs from video games, guys?
I have a few.
Yeah,
So
please.
I would even just say soundtracks for video games, and I shout out a few because I'm honestly undecided.
Yeah.
He said not soundtrack specifically in the question.
Oh,
Damn, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, there's some
All right,
fucking
all right.
ballin'
I have
soundtracks.
to look up names of songs then because I don't know the names of songs. Hang on. Okay, someone else go.
Gerudo Valley from
I was-
Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is really good.
Dude, it's
I
so
don't
much
know the
fun.
name of it. Let me find
I've been
it.
learning how to play on the guitar too. It's so much fun.
Oh yeah.
I want to throw out Terran 1, Terran 2, Terran 3 from StarCraft 1.
Mm.
Those are all really good ones.
Excellent-
Hard to
an
beat.
excellent
Pretty
choice.
safe bet.
Okay.
I'll go with the niche answer. There's at the end of the soundtrack, the game RimWorld. There's this like very Firefly kind of thing. It's like gonna leave it all behind. It's like really cool. I dig it.
Okay.
Nice.
I don't know
Okay.
if it's my favorite, but it's the one that comes to mind right now. But Chrono Trigger, when you face Magus for the first time.
Mm.
Yes.
Oh man, that song
excellent
gets
choice.
me, man. But in my mind, when you guys asked the question, I was thinking about the Child of Light soundtrack. Surprisingly enough, and I
Okay.
couldn't think of the name of any of the songs, but I just know it. But Chrono Trigger, Magus, man.
Yeah.
And Final Fantasy VI, Atma Weapon. It's fucking awesome.
A weapon.
You guys are adding so many
Oh,
more to my
yeah,
list than I thought I was
yeah.
going
Dang,
to.
dude.
Oh, Super Nintendo,
Jesus.
dude. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I never played Final Fantasy VIII, but there's a song called "The Man with the Machine
Man
Gun."
with the
that's
machine gun.
So goddamn
That's
good.
a- yeah.
Never played it. Love that song. Go Google it.
Yeah, that's such a good song.
Awesome.
Yep, so fucking
Yeah.
good. I know that one too.
Okay, my answers, just really quickly. A couple of them are from modern games. One of them is an older game. So first of all, Nier Automata Memories of Dust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Memories of Dust from Nier Automata. There's one.
The BB real quick.
Doom Eternal. This is the other side. This is Maynard likes his metal. Doom Eternal Super Gore Nest. All right. From Doom Eternal. He's singing it.
Yeah.
And my final answer for probably the greatest video game soundtrack of all time is Hell March from Red Alert.
Yeah.
Hell March from Red Alert is too timeless of a song. It is actually still an amazing song to this day, and is performed live by the guy that made that song at gaming conventions, Frank Klepacki, and he's on Spotify.
Was it on the Video Games Live soundtrack as well?
It was at Video Games Live. He performed it at oh god, what was it? Some gaming show that I forget. But his band Frank Klepacki and the Tiberian Sons actually did like all the CNC soundtrack stuff live. It was so sick. It's on YouTube as well. The whole show, so good. But yeah, Hell March is like for me the ultimate video game song. I ladder to it all the time.
Nice.
The for me, I'll throw it in a couple from Hotline Miami, Knock Knock, and It's Safe Now. Those are the two really good ones. When you think of Hotline Miami, I had to open up the soundtrack and listen to them all while you guys were talking, so I had no idea what any of you said, but I found the names, so I didn't just name a soundtrack. All right. Thank you for the question.
That's a good one. Good question.
Yeah. Oh, I got everyone kind of excited too. I guess
Fun
That was a really good question, though. It brought back a
when
lot of memories, man.
When we're done with the show, I'm gonna go listen to these songs now. I'm like so excited.
You
to some gaming music. Yeah.
It's hard to not do a whole soundtrack.
Chat,
Yeah.
so I can go listen to them.
Man.
All right, we got one more question here. Rudolph Holler asks, please give Scarlet and no Rugrats a shout out for wonderfully planned and executed game against Rogue. Not a question, Rudolph, but shout out to No Regret and his strats and Scarlet in her play for that GSL day.
I'm disappointed he used No Rugrats fake name and didn't call Scarlet Scrizzles. Because that was one of the highlights of the cast for me was y'all naming Scarlet.
Scrizzles, yeah.
Excellent. Okay, that's the Patreon Q&A. A big thanks to all of our Patreon supporters, especially our $100 Patreons, Astrofin, Field of Sins, Lazy Bipolar Bear, Jurgen, Manard, and Shane. Really, thanks guys, everyone who supports the Pylon Show. The Patreon is really how we keep this thing going, and we really appreciate you guys. Of course, check out thepylonshow.com for all your Pylon Show needs. It's just like if you are interested at all, you will find everything there. And of course, like I mentioned, our Patreon, patreon.com/The Pylon Show. And don't forget our Matcherino. Type in our code for us. It's banana. Matcherino.com/The Pylon Show. Click login, click contribute, type in banana. You make free money for us. It's amazing. And you can find all these links and more up at our link trees, linktree/Artosis and Linktree Pylon Show. Yes, and so that pretty much does it for the show. Why don't you guys tell us where people can find you next, what you want them to follow or check out or see? Fear Dragon, let's start with you.
I don't know. Just Google something.
I don't know who I am.
Come on.
I do stuff like casting Cheeseadelphia this Saturday. Kwame,
there you go.
We'll find you.
There we go. Oh, is that a toss-off?
That was a handout because
so.
we're casting Cheeseadelphia together.
All right, so hey guys, if you've enjoyed me on the show, you can check me out at twitch.tv/tempo with a 0. You can also check me out on YouTube, tempo with a 0. But unfortunately on Twitter, some miscellaneous person that shall not be named has taken my tempo name, so it's Team Tempo with a 0. I'm not going to be rude today, but I'm contained.
But they know your
Tempo
name.
with a 0. Yeah, check them or check your boy out. And also, Cheeseadelphia this Saturday. You need to check it out. All right, there's going to be a lot of great players playing. And me and Fear Dragon, the casting Darkon, are going to be there. All right, so you definitely got to check it out. It's going to be great. I think that's all I got. Oh,
Superb.
also, Chocolate Ice. Yeah, Temp Zero stands for Chocolate Ice. I'm gonna revive my stripper career. So if you guys want to follow me in the New England area,
Yeah.
He's a very good dancer. He's a very good dancer.
Nice.
And I
Tips are
believe he has a
appreciated.
six-pack as well. I haven't seen it, but
He does
do, yeah.
actually.
It's a
Every
good
single
idea.
event, it is like a tradition for all the pro players
yeah.
to rub his belly because it's just like
Oh,
rock
yeah.
solid.
It's
It's like a
six-pack,
shamrock.
Great. Just grate
Even
some
during these
cheese.
times, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
man.
grate some cheese, cut a ham. You know,
Really good.
Cut a ham.
Easter. I know Easter just was last weekend, but you can have Easter next weekend if you really want. So
hmm
Excellent. Okay. Thank you for that. Creighton, where can people find Maury? What do you want them to check out?
Yeah. Unlike everybody else in the stream, I don't have a cool nickname. Just Creighton Olsen. So Twitch,
GSL Bolt guy.
Twitter. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I do, but all my Twitch and Twitter stuff is just Twitch/Creighton Olsen, Twitter/Creighton Olsen. I'm going to be streaming a metric fuck ton of StarCraft over the next 3 weeks. I've got tomorrow morning. I start at 6 a.m. with the Kung Fu Cup. We got 2 editions of the Global Clan Invitational. I got a whole nother tournament buried in there. I'm going to be a busy dude, so come check me out on Twitch for the next 3 weeks. I'm going to be casting at least 5 hours of StarCraft a day. It's going to be awesome.
Sick. All right, check him out there. And Maynard, how about you?
Twitch TV Maynard, that's where I'm at. You can click on my name in the chat and click follow if you're interested in my stuff. I do lots of casting, replay casting, tournament casting. I have a regular gig of the Pro Tour weekly in the America's Cup on Monday my time, Sunday for the others. It's Lima League Tuesday night my time, which is Tuesday morning for everyone else. And then everything else is honestly a mixture of ladder streams and playing with my friends. We had a cool new show format today where we called it the back seat. I think we called it, or haven't settled on a name for it yet. But basically, we're in a Discord call together, and usually we do teamies. But I'm one of those real stick in the muds that only likes 1v1. I can't have fun. It's not in my body to be able to have fun without 1v1 in StarCraft 2. So Pig actually came up with this to do 1v1s with the friends in the call backseating through screen share or just putting up their stream on our channel and just commenting over it. And we had a blast. It was a really, really good time, and I can't wait to do it again. Hopefully we do it next week. Yeah, that's the kind of content we're doing on that channel. Twitter.com, MaynardSC2, YouTube.com, MaynardSC2. Oh, and on YouTube. I have a brand new video, which isn't that new anymore, but I made a ladder anxiety video, and it's something that I worked very hard on and really appreciate everyone that has watched it and given me very nice messages, and I'm glad that it's reached some people, because ladder anxiety is definitely a big thing for a lot of people that play StarCraft. And I found that a lot of people haven't, they complain about ladder anxiety, but they don't try to do anything about it. And I think that it's one of the, in that video, I feel very strongly about some of the easiest ways to, those are some of the easiest A to B, go from ladder anxiety, not anxious at all. For me, it was so quick and so easy. So check out those methods. It's on my YouTube channel, like I said, youtube.com, MaynardSC2. And yeah.
I made a song about that, Maynard. I did. And
you
also,
did? Yeah,
I wanted to ask you a question. You had a good time the last time that me, you, Zombie Grub, and all them. I know you had a good time. Pictionary, you can have fun. I know you can. I believe in you.
I'm going to be that asshole. I played in the Streamer Bash, and if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have done it. And it's not my jam. I don't like arcade, and I don't like team games. It's not my jam. I'm sorry. But it speaks
highly of your friendship, Tempo.
But I did feel like I would suffer through these terrible game modes to just be with you guys, because I love you.
Pictionary pictures, at least.
I won Pictionary, so
I know.
I was happy about that. But that's just drawing with the left mouse button. I could have done that in Paint. I'm sorry, Tempo. I feel like a broken heart here today.
This took a really bad turn at the end of the episode. It was supposed to be just a nice sign off, real quick.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
No, I'm an
I
asshole.
love Maynard. He's my G.
And the real tragedy is I'm not even good at 1v1. It's just the only format in the game that I like. And it's all I just keep coming back to play it. Yeah,
I'm with you on that.
You're a lot better than I am, but I'm not even great at it, but it's just the only format in the game that I really enjoy. Yeah, sorry.
Cool. All right. Thank you for that, guys.
Where can people find you?
Right here. Twitch.tv/Artosis. Follow the channel. Thank you guys for coming on. This was just a ridiculously fun episode. Really had a great time with you all. And a big cheers to the Pylon Show team, Cobra and everyone else, Alessander, and all of our wonderful people that work behind the scenes. And of course, to all the supporters and everything. You guys are great. That's why we can do this. As for me, I mean, I'm just casting. ASL, we only have 2 days left this season, so it's going to be a while before the next StarCraft 1 tournament. So check that out. The third place match is on Sunday at 7 p.m. KST. And then the next Sunday is the finals, again at 7 p.m. KST. GSL Code S is back. Check it out, 1 p.m. KST on Saturday, 6:30 p.m. KST on Wednesday. So that's what I'm up to, as well as streaming. I'm streaming like almost full time. Like I stream a hell of a lot now. So like 25 hours a week or something. So check that out here. And thanks everyone. That is it. And oh yeah, check out ArtosisTV on YouTube. I've been putting up a lot of YouTube videos, so you can check that out as well. And of course, my link tree shown on the screen has all my links to everything. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for everyone tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Shout out to the Pylon Show, the greatest show on the internet.
This is awesome.
This
Good
was so
times,
much fun,
friends.
guys. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. That was